Looks like we are live, so yeah. Hey guys, how is it going? Welcome to episode 139 of Let's Chat Live. So, hope you guys have had a great weekend and a great week, and now we are going live. So, thank you very much for tuning in. Let's see who's in the chat waiting for me, shall we? So, let's see. Right in the chat waiting for me is Ozzy and Shadow. Fabulous, right on cue. Let's go and say hello to them, shall we? Hey, guys. Hello. I can barely hear you guys as well. So the speaker's playing up again.
Yeah, let's do the camera trick again.
I'll probably fix it.
Now? How about now?
Yeah, I guess that's good. It's really stupid how it makes you guys quiet for some reason when you're not using your cameras. Ridiculous.
Makes no sense. Really doesn't.
No sense at all. Hey, Joseph, welcome. So, in terms of how our weeks have been, guys, well, for those of you who are watching the stream, I mean, you guys were both here. You will both be aware of this. But this week, guys, for those of you who are watching, I started a new job.
Nice.
And I'm pleased, and I'm very pleased to say that it's gone really well so far for my first week, and I really enjoyed it, and I can't wait for more. The only downside is I don't have as much free time as I used to, but then again, that's life, isn't it? Really, so just something I've got to accept, and I will try and do more regular videos for you guys, but due to my new schedule, I might not have a chance to. I'll try and work around it though.
Oh, that's all right.
So yeah. And also as well, guys, in a couple of weeks, there's also a chance I could be moving house too as well. So because of all that stuff I need to do as well, I could be limiting my schedule because of that reason too as well. So yeah. But I'm just glad that, you know, my job's first week has gone really well and I'm looking forward to more. But in terms of what I've got to complain about, though, it's probably the weather because compared to the summer, which the last month for me has been cold and rain, which I've been happy about, it's been really hot this week for some reason.
Climate change is so weird.
I think it's also ironic because summer's over, so why is it so hot this week compared to last month when it was raining and cold? I mean, now that it's gone darker here, guys, it's not as bad as it was today when I was shopping, but yeah. It's boiling.
I probably should have told you how last week went because there was a mini hurricane last week in my area.
Oh, wow. Well, I hope everyone's okay for your area, Ozzy.
Yeah, don't worry. Yeah, don't worry. It just passed by easily. There was nothing bad like how it was last year that I dealt with.
Yeah, were you shut at home because of it, Ozzy?
Yeah, the hurricane was called Hurricane Ian.
Hurricane Ian. Oh, wow.
Yeah, basically in my area, you pretty much have to get used to the hurricanes.
Damn. Yeah, hurricanes are nasty.
Yeah, I'm just glad it wasn't a tornado.
Yeah, of course. Tornadoes are deadly.
Yeah, or else that'd be Bill Paxton.
What, 'cause of Twister?
Yeah.
Yeah, I still need to watch that film one day. I haven't had a chance to yet.
That's I think that might be probably one of my favorite natural disaster movies.
Well, I can see why. Because I heard that film had good reviews. That's fine, Joseph.
Paxton and Helen Hunt were great.
Yeah, happy birthday to your grandmother, Joseph. Hope she has a great day. That is if what you mean by nan, because usually when I hear the word nan, it's usually a shortening of grandmother or grandma. I mean, I called my grandma, of course. And speaking of movie watching as well, guys, because of my job, I've not had a chance to watch much films, but I was able to rewatch Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer, and I still love it to this day. I think it's very underrated.
Yeah, great. It's pretty good.
Still is to this day. 2007, and it looks brilliant compared to today's stuff. When it comes to superhero genre, that is.
Yeah, but the only thing I didn't like about this movie was Galactus.
Yeah, I think they really ruined Galactus. I didn't like how he's a cloud and not how he actually appears in the comics. That's not Galactus at all.
Yeah, I think it's probably one of my biggest complaints about Rise of the Silver Surfer.
And I think it was also predictable that Doctor Doom would of course backstab the team when he joins forces with him to capture a Silver Surfer. Because I mean, guys, he's Doctor Doom.
I mean, you can fully expect that of the happen.
I mean, he's called Doom for a reason. Then also, guys, I also watched another Marvel film this week, which was actually animated. And that film, of course, was Iron Man Rise of Technobor. And I think it's amazing and my second favourite Iron Man movie of all time behind the 2008 movie. Hey, Exalted Nerd, welcome. And I definitely really loved it. It's hard for me to decide what my favourite roles are of the cast, but I can never say that Punisher my favourite roles were Norman Reedus, for example. So far, that is, because my opinion might change when I play Death Stranding one day. Because he's in that as a main character. Hey, Darth Prime. Wait, are you making a quote there, Blaze? Hey, Aaron, welcome.
Hey, so you're here talking about Iron Man.
Yeah, I'm talking about... Yeah, that's right.
I remember when I saw the Iron Man movie at James's old place, or Jay, as you guys know him.
Well, it's what he tells us to call him, yeah. So you saw the film at his home, Aaron. That's amazing.
Yeah, well, it was his home at the time. He doesn't live there anymore.
Yeah, I know.
He said but yeah. But I was so tempted to sing the Iron Man song, like, as he lost his mind. He's on DC. Relax him.
Yeah, and of course, I don't want to sing anything on here because of I'll play any music. Yeah, because of my YouTube nemesis, copyright.
Nah, that's just somebody's ex. Anyway.
YouTube for me is probably an example of something where social media was better when it was old compared to a new YouTube. In my opinion, old YouTube was much better than today's YouTube.
I agree more. I think honestly before late 2016, YouTube was still good. Before the whole demonetization law changed back in late 2016.
Yeah, and look what it did to me earlier this year.
Yeah, well, I will say this though. The decline of all social medias began back in 2012, in my opinion, because what Disney started it was a catalyst. Because being a monopoly, the competition began to get completely bought out, and it started where business people getting greedy. So that's one of the reasons why Marvel MCU now is declining, because they have been bought up by Disney, and they've been following what Disney's done. What would happen if, say, Marvel goes completely independent from Disney? What do you think would happen then?
Well, I just don't really care for Marvel anymore, to be honest. Marvel's dead to me anyway.
Yeah, Marvel's well, think about who owns Marvel. If that company didn't own Marvel, do you think it would still be alive? Like, it'll be a lot better now than it is. Well, than if Disney didn't buy it.
Well, the only answer I can say to that is who knows, because we're never gonna know, are we?
Yeah, we'll never know.
Yeah,
on a darker note, I had to actually block someone this morning because.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that.
Well, it was someone that actually creeped out Jay at one time.
Oh no!
And they have been. It was a while ago, but the recent event was they were comparing someone to a criminal because they said an opinion about a film. And that's something I do not find acceptable anymore. I don't need to hear that drama anymore. And I definitely don't want to hear the random comments that have absolutely nothing to do with the video and then try to talk to me like YouTube is some sort of Facebook Messenger. I mean, I can understand some people have done that to me in the past and I've been chill, but that particular individual, sorry, dude, you don't deserve my respect.
Well, whoever that is, Aaron, who creeps out Jay, has earned my disrespect, if you will.
Disrespect your surroundings. Mean jokes.
Mm-hmm.
I
Hello,
also
Knox
hate when
Wave.
people make comments that are irrelevant to the video. It
Yeah,
really
I
annoys
hate
me when
them.
people do that.
Whenever people do that, I just remove the comments because in my opinion, it's spam.
Yeah, because like I remember one time someone in the comments said, "I have something to tell you." I'm like, "What is it?" And like, just like brackets whispers in your ear. I have a crush on somebody. I'm just like, what does this have to do with the video?
Exactly.
What's this elementary school? What's going on here?
If you have a crush on someone, just don't tell me because I don't care. And plus, I don't even know you.
Hmm.
It's like the song Jimmy Crack Corn. Jimmy Crack Corn and I don't care. Jimmy Crack Corn and I don't care. Jimmy Crack Corn and I don't care. I'm like, what does that have to do with the topic? Stay to the topic of the video. Imagine someone just animates me dancing around Luke singing Jimmy Crack Corn. I don't know. It just thought it'd be funny. or maybe Luke and his friends just jumping on Disney's logo like this Pixar's lamp does to the eye. Just flatting out Disney like that.
Yeah. You're not wrong, Dark Prime. Old Marvel is better than today's Marvel. Absolutely. And that's why I watch older stuff these days, like Iron Man Rise of Tennorball, which is actually 10 years old, and in my opinion, it's amazing. But my second favorite Iron Man movie of all time, actually, now. Definitely better than Iron Man 2 and 3. And obviously, I can say old is better because my favorite movie, Spider-Man 2, is considered old because next year is going to be 20 years old. And in my opinion, it's timeless in every single possible way.
And I'm going to be there when I post a clip about it next year.
Very nice. And Ozzy, when you had your camera on... And Ozzy...
I say with DM Luke.
Okay. Oh, I know who you mean, Aaron. I know who you mean, yeah. I've run into this guy quite a few times, and I think he was out of line with the things he's been saying, which I've seen.
He is... I don't usually say something like that, but I think this person has some serious personal social issues that they need to get fixed.
Yeah, I think so too. And Ozzy, I saw you had your camera on earlier. Are you playing something right now?
Yeah, I'm playing on my computer.
All right, and what are you playing this time?
Black Ops 2 Zombies.
Oh, very nice. You love that game, don't you?
Well, my favorite Call of Duty. Back when Call of Duty was still good.
Oh, yeah, Spider-Man 984 is amazing. Love that show. Hey, Rex, as well. Welcome. Right. Sorry, what, Ozzy?
I'm on season 2 of the animated series.
Very nice. And
yeah, I was playing some Hogwarts Legacy earlier.
Very nice. And also, guys, last Sunday, the day before starting my new job, I also got the platinum for Lego Jurassic World too, finally.
Nice.
Lego Jurassic World, yeah, it was definitely, tough, in my opinion. It's definitely a unique Lego game when it comes to the recent ones because the characters don't have any powers, do they, really? The human characters, that is.
No, they're just regular humans.
But simply just only human. Blaze is watching TMNT 2012, no worries, Blaze. Let me know what's going to happen with what was happening on the stream, Blaze, with our special guest who will hopefully come on soon. So yeah, I'm very glad that I was able to platinum it, and thankfully, unlike Lego or Hobby, I was able to actually get it. So yeah, thank God for that. And of course, the trophy was named after Ian Malcolm's famous catchphrase. Of course, which is life finds a way.
Life finds a way.
And have you guys also noticed that exact quote, "Life Earth finds a way," is actually the name of a platinum for the PS Vita version of Lego Jurassic World for some reason, which I think is interesting. I mean, why not give it the same version as the consoles? I mean, because some Vita versions of games do have the same trophy names as their console counterparts. Because they are quite similar, some of the Lego games. But these
Hey,
days,
man,
these days, we have a bit of respect for TC Games when it comes to making their games. Because, I mean, one example, of course, is when they listen to fans on Twitter when they're adding things to Lego Skywalker Saga. For example, the famous glitch where you can duplicate characters.
Oh yeah.
I still remember doing that a lot before they patched it up and brought it back.
It was one thing I'd love them to add, but it's to add the Yoda death sound back.
Please.
Aspect justice for Yoda death noise.
Yeah, I really hope so. Because that death sound is very iconic.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know a lot of some of the old video games and all that, like you guys do sometimes. But I will admit though, I think I'm beginning to see where you guys come from. Sometimes old is better. But there is one thing I really, really hate. And this is something I think that will affect even retro gamers. If you want to play some of the newer and old games, you've got to have a up-to-date computer. You got to have the good graphics card for some. And you got to have all the space. You're being forced to upgrade a lot nowadays. And I hate that because now, I mean, I miss the days where you get a Windows 98 computer. Windows 98 was the it was awesome. And I don't know and I still have a Windows 98 laptop myself. I just don't play it much like I used to. But if I ever get a Windows 98 tower and get a built-in Windows 98 PC and a Windows modern up-to-date PC for video gaming, I might be able to record some stuff on there and show the world what I can do. Some people do use Windows 98 emulators nowadays, though, so emulators are the thing.
If I was to make a console, guys, like the PS6, for example, what I'd do is I'd of course give it a feature where every single PlayStation game in existence is playable on it, dating back to the very first PlayStation.
Yeah, I remember the PlayStation, the very first one. It was huge, it was loud, but it was compatible for PS1, 2, and 3. And I think, though, if I was the head of either Microsoft, Nintendo, or Sony, I'd probably do the ultimate console, where it's backwards compatible and newer ones. Because then people don't have to be forced to buy games. That's when you think of business, though, you get to be able to, people get to buy a massive console where they can buy all the games they want or get back some old games that they've lost over the years and be backwards compatible. I mean, we're getting to a point now retro games are going to make a bigger comeback because, let's be honest, no, I don't want to hear about a girl, her husband, and his girlfriend play a stupid game. I don't understand why people think it's okay to go honey, honey, honey all the time. Not joking. I was on TikTok. I was on TikTok, and there was a woman that said, I was on this app with my husband and his girlfriend, and Ian went what? Because I was like, dude, polyamorous much? That means having attraction to multiple partners for everyone. Not a diss, just showing a definition.
Well, I can see what you mean, Aaron. So, and
yeah,
another thing I'd also do with PS6, guys, is I would also make the default version of it small. I wouldn't make it a massive like the PS5's default version is. I'd make it small.
Well, you got to think about the chips and everything. And one more thing, fix the pace. They need to fix the pace because apparently when you stand it up, it's liquefied. That's what ends up killing the inside of the PlayStation. So that's why people put it on the side instead.
I usually never stand up my consoles. The only exception is the Wii.
Yeah, I agree. Even though the second and third model you do you put it on the side, but the first one you don't have to.
Yeah, I have the first model. I don't want to get the other models because I love my GameCube games. So no thanks.
Hey, that's kind of ironic. Speaking of GameCube games, that's what I've been playing recently. I was playing Mario Power Tennis this week.
Oh, I love that game.
I was able to. I bought it one time at half price, but the disc was it was basically so bad. You know how someone rips the pants and their pants is like split on the end? The disc was literally split in half.
Jesus.
Take the wheel. It was that bad. So I bought the disc online. It was about $30, which is probably a steal. The game works perfectly, and I was able to play Mario, get him as a star player, unlocked 2 characters, and multiple stadiums.
Very nice.
You know what this Sonora reminds me of? This reminds me of a few years ago. I got Super Smash Bros. Melee. The seller claimed that the disc works. Get the disc. There's like dirt inside of it. I put it in the Wii. I kept getting disc error after disc error after disc error after disc error. I'm just like, nope. I'm ordering a new copy. $50.
$50 for that.
If disc only, and you do not know, and you're not going to like the price to pay for the actual game itself back then.
Was it a lot of money, Ozzy?
$80.
Goodness me, all that for one game. You can get like new games for that price nowadays.
And yes,
yeah,
I'm going to get out of the way. It was kind of a rip-off.
A rip-off? Oh, dear.
Yeah. To be honest, though, to be honest, though, retro games are more expensive now because they don't make them anymore. And that's and honestly, though, with the lack of supply and a high demand, that's going to happen. That's just part of the economic business model. If there's a high demand but a low supply, prices go up. That's common sense. Like, say, for example, there's a lot of PlayStation 5s, a whole bunch of them. There's a great supply but low demand. Automatically, you know what happens? Prices go down. And what has happened early on that Sony cracked down on, which is a rare win for them, they cracked down on splicers. Basically, people who get it jack up the prices like a balloon and make people pay ridiculous amounts of money for a PlayStation 5. Like, I've seen a PlayStation that costs like $1,200.
Wow.
$1,200 for a PlayStation 5.
Wow.
And people make the claim like, oh, we legit have it. That's why I don't recommend buying a PlayStation 5. It's not okay if you have to pay over $1,000 for it. No console, in my opinion, is worth $1,000 unless there's a lot of stuff that comes with it. If the PlayStation 5 comes with 2 controllers, the original PlayStation 5, brand new and clean, it comes with multiple games, then that's worth $1,000.
Yeah, that's why when it comes to ones in a PS5, I'm going to ask for it for Christmas, and specifically the one that comes with Spider-Man 2 again, coming next month, of course.
Well, you see with the $1,000 things, this is why you never buy from scalpers. Because you know that it doesn't cost, that an actual PS5 doesn't cost that much. Plus, I know some people that actually did get ripped off on scalpers.
That's unfortunate. And if you guys wondering what my target console is nowadays, well, it's not a PS5, guys. It's going to be a PS3, actually.
How ironic! I haven't played. If I actually knew that, I probably would have sent you one if I didn't have to bring it back. But it was a Japanese PlayStation 3, so.
Oh, right. Yeah, I'm not sure if it could work here.
Well, it will work. It'll probably work in the UK. It just won't work with. But it needs to have a Japanese thing. But you know what color it was? Silver.
Silver. Wow.
Apparently the Japanese models have multiple colors.
Wow.
Yeah, that's usually favorite Japanese video game consoles.
Yeah,
go
on.
I was gonna say, to be honest, I keep stuttering. I was gonna say Japanese video game consoles, chef's kiss. That's pretty much all I can say. Like mostly Nintendo systems.
Well, Nintendo is based in Japan, so it makes sense.
Yeah. Well, minus one Nintendo system in particular, but I do not feel like mentioning that certain system again. And no, it's not the Wii U.
What was it? The Nintendo VR back in the 90s?
Yep.
Oh! And I was watching a channel. I was watching a channel called Dope or Nope about that. It was glitchy. It was like glitchy. It's like you're going on a roller coaster, but it kept going up and down because it's so bumpy up there. Bumpy up there because it's wood, not metal, and your back goes out.
And you want to know the sad thing about that? I've actually played it.
Oh wow.
A real headache.
It hurt my eyes.
I was about to say it's a real headache, isn't it?
Well, that's your opinion, Declan, and guess what? I'm also targeting the PS2 as well as the PS3 because I guess you could say I'm going back in time, guys, when it comes to console hunting.
Welcome to my world. I have a, but here's the cool thing about PlayStation 3. There's multiple models. You get the PlayStation Slim. You can get the regular PlayStation, so I have one of the regular PlayStations, but there's only like one that you could actually play PlayStation 2 and PlayStation 1 games. The one I got, because there's only one, but every single PlayStation, if you get the right region one, can play PlayStation 1 games and PlayStation 3 games. But if it doesn't have a chip inside, it will not play PlayStation 2 games unless you download a software for it. I think someone tried to mention me about that.
Blaze can help you out with that one.
Yeah, if he could have told him, but he's watching TMNT into the 2012 show, so yeah. Yeah, Noxwave, screw Microsoft for that. Thankfully, I'm stopping playing Xbox sooner anyway, so yeah. Because I've had enough of Microsoft.
But it's also, I'm planning to get a PS3 again anyway, because quick recap, I sold my PS3 back in 2016 to get a Nintendo Switch, and I'm going to try to get one again, and the model is going to be the Slim model, because that's the one I grew up with. There.
Nice one.
For newer things, I'm planning to get a gaming laptop somewhere in the future.
Or build your own laptop if you can in the future, so that way you can get the right specs for yourself.
Well, there's this website called Meta, which I'm going to be using. So I think
I heard about them. Yeah.
Plus, also that's like Ricky Burke's main sponsorship.
That's a lot of sponsorships that against the stupidity. You guys know what I mean. If you know, you know.
Yeah, I'm not interested in Starfield either, guys. Don't worry. I used to play it, and I can also confirm that when he posted his rant on Twitter about it, well, thanks to Dan Vask sharing it, has earned lots more respect from me.
That's why I said
hilarious.
Yeah, because when he ranted about it, guys, I was agreeing with everything that he said.
I could not stop laughing when he was ranting about it.
He's a legend.
All I can say is I stopped caring for modern games. I'm sorry.
That's probably that's probably for the best, Aaron. Actually, don't be sorry. I think it's probably for the best.
Yeah, it's like you should play the latest game. Let me think about that for a nanosecond. No.
The only one that I'm interested in playing, which is why I got it recently, of course, was Hogwarts Legacy.
What about the Spider-Man game?
That's coming out next month, so I'll be targeting that, and I want that for Christmas as well. So I'm going to ask if I can have it for Christmas with PS5, which comes with Spider-Man 2, and it's got that unique paint work on it, of course.
Yeah, and Tony Todd has it, and he's lucky.
Yeah, Tony Todd's an absolute legend, and because he follows me on Twitter, guys, I might probably try and reach out to him to ask if he'd like to join us as a special guest one day.
Oh, that would
be awesome.
Yeah.
There is one game I do challenge you, Luke, to try out for the PlayStation 5 if you can.
What is it?
The Five Nights at Freddy games 1, 4, and the Five Nights at Freddy's Help Wanted and Security Breach.
I'm not really sure, to be honest. I'd rather play them on PC.
Yeah, I prefer to play them on PC.
I think they're better on PC, to be honest.
I understand. I thought it'd be hilarious if you guys try to play a horror game and you guys fall in your chair when you get jump scared.
Like Markiplier?
yeah. Just don't swear too much like he did in FNAF 3. It's like, he was like, God, stop! Beep, 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 beep.
Wow, that was extreme.
Swearing, I on terms of swearing, I can't make promises.
I don't.
Yeah, me too.
I just go Jezebel. Just
Yeah.
It says I'm playing for that anyways for the movie.
I think he definitely will do a great job
I-
playing Venom, Darth Prime, you're right. But one we've got to take into account, guys, is that Tony will be 70 next year. So you know, so he's getting on a bit. So we have to see if he'd be up to joining us, of course. We'll have to wait and see, of course. I mean, we did get Keisha Bafka on earlier this year, and he's in his 70s. So yeah, we could get Tony on too.
Didn't Tony retire from live action roles and just swap the voice work?
I heard somewhere that he is considering retiring, but I'm not sure if it's official just yet. Let me check out Tony's Wikipedia page and see what it says. If it's true.
Wait, are you talking Tony?
Tony
are you
Todd.
talking Tony Stark?
Tony Todd, the actor.
I think
Tony Todd.
Tony
Candyman.
Todd. I thought I was mixing the real Tony Todd with the fictional Tony Stark or Tony Stank.
Long story short, Tony Todd played Candyman. He also voiced the Fallen in Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen, and he's going to be voicing Venom in the new Spider-Man 2 game.
He's been in tons of other things too, as a prominent voice actor.
Yeah, those are the main things I mostly know about.
All I can say is, we are Venom.
And Ozzy, he's also in your favorite Call of Duty game too.
Oh, nice.
He plays Admiral Briggs, you know, the Admiral on the ship. He plays Admiral Briggs. And
I really got to continue the main story on the PC.
And you'll know it's him because the character looks like him as well, because he played him via motion capture as well. You'll know it's him when you see him. Yeah. Yeah, Hank Azaria is awesome as Venom. Does a really great job voicing Venom. The guy from Spectacular Spider-Man, isn't that Benjamin Diskin, guys, who plays Venom in Spectacular Spider-Man? I think that's Ben Diskin.
I guess.
Yeah, I think it's Ben Diskin. I seem to remember seeing him on my voice comparison for Venom.
I think the Spider-Man anime series is how it got introduced to Hank Azaria. It was either that or Night at the Museum 2.
Well, for me, it was The Simpsons. The old Simpsons. The old Simpsons, not today's Simpsons, obviously, because I hate what The Simpsons has become. The Simpsons is another example of where old is better than new.
Oh, yeah, New Simpsons sucks. Well, then again, they're run by Disney nowadays, so...
Yeah, what does that tell you? That tells you if you need to know, doesn't it?
I kind of saw that.
Came up to the third season for you guys, Benefits too.
Yeah, and shut up.
It is absolute pile of garbage.
Yeah, I thought so. I mean, I backed out of it when they did those stupid recastings for no reason whatsoever for many of the iconic characters.
Yeah, like you're replacing Hank Azaria as Carl.
Yeah, which is stupid.
And replacing with someone who can't even act.
Yeah, exactly. Because when it comes to the cast for sure, Harry Shearer, however, thankfully didn't agree with his decision, you know, and that's why he has my respect. And he said a very good quote, which is that when you step into the shoes of a character you play, you're no longer yourself. You're totally different.
Man, why can't people understand that?
Yeah, he's not wrong at all.
I mean, like, look at Robert Downey Jr. in Tropic Thunder.
Yeah, because he was amazing as Kirk Lazarus. Absolutely hilarious too. It's proof he can do comedic roles as well as dramatic roles. Although we'll say that Tony Stark has had his fair share of funny moments, hasn't he?
Well, it's Tony Stark, so you can't really go wrong with him.
Exactly. That's Polar for a best, Declan. Polar for a best. And the same thing also applies to Family Guy as well, guys. I stopped watching that as well, mainly due to the stupid recastings. And also, guys, however, I will say that Seth MacFarlane is probably doing the right thing, not writing it while his strike's happening. I think he's doing the right thing. But still, he should probably cancel it again for good.
Please do, because I don't care anymore.
Are you talking about the Snow White reboot?
No, Family Guy.
No,
Family Guy.
Not the Snow White remake. I heard it's rumored to get canceled.
Yeah. All I can say, here's my opinion about Family Guy. I could direct it better. Dad, what's going on with Family Guy? Shut up, Chris. No one really cares. Dad, calm down. Shut up, Meg.
Family Guy, you know, when I watch old clips from it, you know, old cutaway gags from it, the way that the humor is executed and the dialogue is so much better than today's Family Guy.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
nowadays, whenever I watch Family Guy, I just watch the old episodes. I don't watch anything of the new ones.
The Principal and the Pauper. Is that a recent episode? I don't think I've seen that Simpsons episode.
Isn't that the one where Skinner was confirmed to be apparently a fraud this whole time?
I have no idea, to be honest. I've forgotten, a lot about Simpsons, really, apart from old Simpsons.
So I think
If
it was.
If I am to be honest, guys, I think they should have ended with Simpsons with the movie from 2007. And they should have stopped there, to be honest.
That was a perfect ending.
Absolutely.
Probably should have been a perfect ending.
Yeah.
Said though.
Yes, the Principal and the Pauper is the one where Skinner is apparently a fraud.
Oh my god. And doesn't Harry also voice Principal Skinner too?
Yes.
Oh god, no wonder he hated it.
No. I mean, it's universally hated.
Yeah.
All I can say is, I admit I must have been a third for too long. And Homer's like,
It's from Series 9, guys, in 1997 too. So this was before it all went downhill, I guess.
I only seen clips of that episode. I didn't fully watch it.
I guess
People,
and
also, guys,
sorry.
Yeah, people have also been said that apparently this episode is the beginning of The Simpsons going downhill, apparently, from 1997 onward. Goodness me.
I can see why.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, they try to focus a lot not on very edgy, grudgy humor over the years. I mean, some of the stuff that Simpsons have done were man. But now, my parents never let me watch it when I was younger. They were right to do so.
Yeah,
because
modern
TV just seems to get away with things, and sometimes they do a political jab once in a while. And there was a time when they completely sold us out to Disney a little bit, and they show Homer wearing the Iron Man suit and everyone, and even Bart, probably the smartest of everyone in that situation, was very mad. And then when they took the picture, he basically decided to moon the camera from Disney.
I know that because that was like right after Disney bought out Fox. And that's also when Disney Plus was launching.
Disney Plus more.
Well, D-.
Yeah, I was about to say, I just got a new title for Disney minus, where you get like where everyone loses.
That's what we all call it. D minus.
1 month.
We have always called it that.
D minus.
And the thing is that I was going to point out with what Disney doing with Simpsons nowadays sucks, especially because nowadays the Simpsons are now advertising because they're advertising Disney nowadays.
How unfortunate. On a more positive note, though, guys, you are probably going to be wondering what I got today, aren't you?
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, because I went out to Ashton today. It was really hot, but I got some pretty cool things. But in terms of unboxings, I unboxed my figure of Batman with damage and it got 2 axes. Definitely a pretty cool figure, I might say. Reminds you of our Rebirth design for Batman, his Batsuit. And then today, guys, I got a Blu-ray for an animated film, which is a spin-off of a very popular franchise by DreamWorks.
Puss in Boots.
Yeah, well done. It's Puss in Boots, the only one I can accept. But there's only one to me. And I don't want any of you guys in the comments to be telling me to watch a sequel. No, I'm not watching it.
Actually, I heard that particular sequel was good.
Well, I don't care what people think of it. I'm not interested in watching it. And as far as I'm concerned, this one does have a sequel, Shrek 2.
That is the true sequel. That's literally what they set up for at the end.
And also, one of the people in the comments, Darth Fan, told me that it's underwhelming. So yeah, that's what I need to know. And also as well, and also for some reason it sets up Shrek 5 at the end. Like, no, are you kidding me? Shrek where after it is, where as far as I'm concerned, where it ended.
I don't understand why are so many people getting excited for these DreamWorks sequels? You know these DreamWorks movies didn't need sequels, so why are you getting excited for them?
Exactly, and as far as I'm concerned, for the most part, DreamWorks' old films are better than today's DreamWorks, for the most part. Because obviously, as you guys know, I hate Shark Tale.
And people still will not stop asking me why I stopped watching DreamWorks.
All right, I'll be right back. I'm going to come in. My computer's on my phone. Hold on.
No worries, Aaron. And then next up was I'm not going to be watching Puss in Boots 2. I never will. And also, guys, I also want to watch it because for some reason they're using Spider-Verse animation in a Puss in Boots movie. Are you having a laugh?
What's wrong with the regular animation?
Like, I mean, yes, Spider-Verse is an amazing film, but that doesn't mean you have to use its animation in other animated films. That's a dumb move. Like, Puss in Boots isn't a comic book.
It's not. It's a fairy tale.
Exactly. Fairy tale, not a book. Fairy tale. Get it right.
Yeah. I mean, they should have just reused the animation from the first movie.
Is it really that hard to do? It would have been nostalgic. It would have been nostalgic for fans of the original movie.
And also, you can really just enhance it with today's technology as well.
There's even like a tagline on this film which says one perfect family movie. One. Clues in the number, it says one. Even the Blu-ray knows it. There's only one movie. Hey,
Okay, here's everyone put your finger up and do this opinion about the recent sequels and remakes.
Okay.
Can't stand it.
You got death threats, Declan. Are you kidding me? That's ridiculous.
Seriously?
You didn't
What?
just because you didn't want to watch that new TMNT movie. Are you kidding me? That's stupid. You didn't deserve that at all. Just because you don't want to watch a film. That's just an example of times when people are being childish. Just grow the hell up. Because you're not going to get anywhere in life if you're going to send out death threats. I mean,
people get called childish for criticizing. That's literally double standard for some people. If you're like, oh, we're not sending you criticism, but you should watch or else this will happen to you. Like, what?
Yeah,
and honestly, I'm just gonna say this right now. Mutant Mayhem is more dead to me now than ever.
I mean, I'm not even going to watch that because it is by someone I hate, which is, as I call him, Seth Rotten. But if you guys were wondering who it is, it's Seth Rogen. I call him Seth Rotten.
But you know what's ironic about the title Mayhem? Isn't it causing mayhem in the fan community?
I think you're right, Aaron.
Yeah.
Kind of, because I technically am kind of a part of that community.
Well, here's how this is. Let's all agree we think this is better. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Teenage Mutant.
Yeah, that's the 2012 show that Blaze is watching. But to me, my favorite Ninja Turtle show is 2003 show.
Yeah. And then there's also the original version from the 1980s, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That was the 80s version. The 2012 just basically took it and just revamped it a little bit.
Yeah, pretty much. Yes, I've already seen the 80s version. I've seen pretty much almost every variant of the Ninja Turtle show.
There's also a quote, guys, from Doctor Who, which could probably, be associated with these idiots who are sending out death threats, being this: if you choose death and destruction, then death and destruction will choose you.
I mean,
yeah, that's perfect.
So you need to watch what you do. You need to watch what you're doing.
Like this. Yeah, and look at woke Disney nowadays.
Yeah, look at them. Hope that company's going to die. Hope it does.
Yeah. All right. Decline. This is Aaron Rage Marvel here. I'm very sorry you had to go through all that, man. Be honest though. I recommend you. This might be a recommendation. You should screenshot some of those comments and report it to the local authorities immediately.
Good idea.
If you can, because I think if more people stand up to these lunatics who think they can say or speak whatever they want, they're like, oh, they're just kids that need a diaper change. Yeah. Like, seriously, that's I don't care if you love it, hate it, or whatever. Death threats is not the answer.
Your death threats is totally out of line. It's childish and stupid. The other thing I've got to say is grow up.
Yeah, get out of your mama's basement. Anyway.
And also Don had to delete his original rant on the movie just because he got 9 dislikes.
Yeah, that was stupid. How he gave him all dislikes just because he got an opinion.
Literally, my response is just respect his opinion if you don't like it or not.
To each their own.
Like, Because that's literally how I'm like. I'm just like, if you don't like the movie, then that's fine. I don't. It doesn't really bother me as long as you're not disrespecting other people's opinions.
Anyway, on another positive note, though, guys, the next thing I got is a PS4 video game, which is actually an exchange from Xbox One to PS4. Do you want to take a guess?
Which franchise is it from?
Well, take a guess.
It's Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, it is. And can you guess which one it is? In the franchise, which is I've got on PS4 now.
Is it Black Flag?
Oh, well done, Ozzy. It's Black Flag. The one you're playing, isn't it?
I haven't played that in a while.
I mean, is it the only one you have?
No, I have the Ezio collection, but it's all on the Switch. But I'm planning to get it again on PlayStation.
Yeah, I imagine the PlayStation version might have its limits, unfortunately. On the Switch, that is.
The Switch version is okay, but I feel like I'll have fun on more on the PlayStation.
I mean, you can, of course, have a bigger screen, so yeah, the resolution will be better for you, of course. And also, guys, it says here that this version on PS4 has 60 minutes of exclusive gameplay, which is pretty cool.
Another reason to get it on PlayStation.
Yep.
As long as it doesn't have gameplay of stupidity for some people. Now, I don't play Assassin's Creed. I respect those. I can respect if you guys like it or not. I just won't play it myself.
That's fine.
Okay, guys, time out. This is exactly what I mean. I don't like Assassin's Creed personally, and Luke disrespects that. Where is that respect nowadays? Down the drain.
Take care, Declan.
Take care, man.
Yeah. And then the last thing I got, guys, in terms of gaming was another game, but this time, guys, for PlayStation Vita. And I got this game, guys, because I'm taking Ozzy's word for it, because he told me this game is better on the Vita than the console version. And Ozzy, I'm going to let you guess what it is.
Oh, was it Lego Batman 3?
It is. Or should I say Lego Justice League on the Vita?
Yeah, pretty much.
Because Ozzy, you've told me that the levels are better, don't you think? Because they're not as long, are they?
Yeah, way better, because they don't drag on for too long.
Thank God for that.
Sorry, Justice League theme from the TV show.
Oh, I love that theme. Love that theme.
Yeah, I know, I love that show.
And that shows my childhood. So I got introduced to the DC animated universe.
Yeah, also I got introduced to Kevin Conroy.
Hey, rest in peace.
Yeah.
The greatest Batman ever. The greatest Batman ever.
Arlene Sorkin. I love Arlene Sorkin, man.
Yeah, we lost them both way too soon.
All I can say is, though, can't forget that theme, but we can't forget this theme. Justice League Unlimited.
Indeed, yeah. And what's also sad is Arlene unfortunately passed away at the same age Kevin would have turned if he hadn't have died before his birthday last year. 67.
67.
Which is very sad. And finally, guys, I got a figure for a DC character, and it's actually a bit of a shocking coincidence about this figure, because I got this figure, guys, of course, as a way of paying my respects. And can you guys guess what that figure is?
It's Harley Quinn.
It is, based on animated series.
Nice.
Even got the iconic look on the back there, see? And there it is there.
And, yeah, here's what's fun. Here's the ironic thing. Arlene Sorkin was the original Harley Quinn voice. No one can replace her.
Yeah, she is. She started it, Harley. We wouldn't have this iconic character without her. And that's why, guys, on her birthday next month on the 14th of October, I'll make a compilation of her as Harley. Yeah, going from, of course, the animated series of Batman up to her final performance, which is DC Universe Online, before she retired.
Yeah, it's a shame, though. I mean, people say legends never die, but I can see that while the humans will pass on everything, the legend of what they work will rise on. Now, because of what happened, my now concern might be towards Mark Hamill. I hope he's not next.
I really hope so.
I really don't want him to. I really want him to last long. I mean, granted, there are some stuff I don't agree with him on, which I can keep to myself here.
Aaron, okay. Let's just not think about it. Yeah,
it's best, to appreciate Mark for as long as possible. Really, appreciate him while we can. Really.
Yeah,
Agreed.
I mean,
Agreed. Wait, agree. It might be right, even though we lost legends. But I'm a legend in my own mind. Okay. But not my best Joker impression, but still better than Jared Leto's.
Mm-hmm.
The original Suicide Squad 2016, at least.
I prefer Joker by Jared Leto in the Snyder Cut way more than Suicide Squad 2016.
Yeah.
Yep. Because I will not forget how terrible my theatrical experience with that movie was.
I can imagine it wasn't good, Ozzy.
Oh, it sucked.
Sorry to hear that. So let me guess, guys. Would you guys say your favorite thing that I got today was Harley?
Yes. Yep.
Very nice. Oh, Blaze is here. Hey, Blaze.
Welcome.
He's on mute. Okay. Still, any word from our potential guest, Blaze? Because I'm not going to reveal who it is until, of course, you confirm that the guest will be coming or not. The Shredder in MK1? I mean, they did have the Ninja Turtles in Injustice 2, so he could appear in another NetherRealm game in MK1, I guess.
I mean, why not? I feel like he would fit in.
I mean, is he a brutal character, Ozzy?
One look at his design should tell you everything.
Exactly, so he could fit in potentially. And if you were to get someone to voice him, Ozzy, would you pick, who's your favourite Shredder?
I think maybe Kevin Michael Richardson.
Would you get him to reprise his role then?
Hell yeah.
I mean, he's of course familiar with NetherRealm, guys, because he's voiced Goro several times.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe Kevin Michael Richardson. I think he's like Shredder's my second favorite role of his after Joker and Batman and the Batman.
I mean, my favorite role of Kevin is Bulkhead in Transformers Prime.
Yes, I am.
What about James Avery's Shredder? James Avery that was also Philip Banks in Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. What about his Shredder?
Is he dead, James Avery?
Passed away in 2013. Yeah, but
well, obviously he can't reprise his role.
Since he passed away, we get him.
So we can't get him to reprise his role, unfortunately. Rest in peace to James Avery. I mean, if there's a sound-alike of him, I guess we could get a sound-alike.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But some people say he let out his Shredder voice when he was in Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Oh,
because actually when he does his laugh, which very creepy and very spine shivering, and the part where the guy goes, "Hey, man, that was scary. I wet myself," that type of thing.
And there's also another reason, because I haven't heard enough of his voice yet, so that's another reason.
As far as Fresh Prince of Bel-Air goes, guys, the only thing I've seen of James Avery is the "Get Out of My House" scene.
It's a sample for "Get Out of My House."
Yeah.
And his daughter's like, "Daddy, I love him." Someone did a mini voice of James Avery, a Shredder tribute. It's about 7 minutes, so I'll probably. Where do you want me to? I don't. Dude.
No, mic chat would be a simple place to put it.
Good idea. So no mic chat. Good idea.
You guys could check it out.
Please do.
There's also another reason for Kevin Michael Richardson, because I believe he's the original voice of Shredder. That's probably another reason.
Oh, what's also sad, guys, is James Avery died on New Year's Eve 2013. How sad. He died before 2014, literally day before the new year. Rest in peace. And I see he's also in the Aladdin animated series as a character called Harood Has He Been. Never seen that animated series, bro.
I think I've only seen like one episode.
I've seen a few.
And Shadow, when you say you've watched one, is it because you don't want to watch any more, or is it because you didn't have a chance to watch more?
Didn't have a chance to watch more.
And do you want to watch more?
Nowadays, not really.
Oh wow. And Ozzy, what are your thoughts on the show?
I'm not really a fan of it, to be honest.
Sorry to hear that, but in terms of other shows, well, guys, I'm up to series 6 of The Office's American version, and it's been an absolute blast so far.
Nice.
And if you guys are wondering, I've also been dying of laughter at the popular memes I've seen on Twitter, which have cropped up in the episodes.
Have you watched up to the no God?
Yeah, I've gone past that.
There's also kind of another reason why that Aladdin show is kind of should not have happened, because you want to know what caused that show to happen? The very first direct-to-video Disney sequel, which is Return of Jafar.
Oh no, did that set up a show, guys?
Yes, it did.
Oh dear, that sucked.
And that movie was garbage.
But on the bright side, we did get a decently good sequel, which was King of Thieves.
Yeah, I know it's decently good, because you guys told me Robin Williams come back as a genie, doesn't he?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it does.
And also, guys, James Avery also has voiced War Machine in the animated Marvel shows in the 90s, being Iron Man and Spider-Man animated series, which I think is really cool.
Oh, wait, I've heard his War Machine voice.
Yeah, he's good, isn't he?
Yeah, because I remember the episode when J. Jonah Jameson almost unmasked Spider-Man, but War Machine stopped him.
But yeah, I think
crumbled up his ID.
Office is probably like a big example of a show where you may not have seen, you'll probably be aware of its existence due to the memes.
Yeah, that's kind of the main reason how I'm aware of that show's existence back in, I think, 2016.
Yeah. Bonsoir Venom Comics. And now, guys, I'm going to eat some What's-Its cheese puffs, if you guys are wondering what they are, for a popular British snack by Walkers.
Nice.
And this is their giant variant, which looks like this. I've actually done a food review of these too.
Oh yeah, and look, and I'm sure you're also very happy to know that I'm finally seeing your favorite horror movie this week.
I'm very happy that you had a blast with it, Shadow, as you told me.
Yeah, I guess we'd say the movie is short but sweet.
I mean, it was well paced, as I might say.
Yeah. But it was worth every damn minute.
And let me also guess, Shadow, is your favorite scene in the film groovy?
You bet it is.
Of course it is. Hey, Liv, nice to see you here. Welcome.
And I'll be watching Evil Dead 3 next week.
Army of Darkness, very nice. Hope you enjoy that. If you wonder what you're in, if you wonder what you're in for, Shadow, with Army of Darkness, it goes for more of a comedy than horror, just so you know. So yeah, you'll be in for lots of funny moments.
That's all right.
You'll be in lots of funny moments.
I already love horror comedies, so I'm sure I'm gonna have a blast with this.
So I'm looking up. So apparently, recently I found out in the new not Rise of Skywalker, the Lego Star Wars, the latest one, they removed the old Yoda sound with the new one, and
yeah, it's true. Unfortunately, I can confirm it.
Yeah, it's not that great.
It sounds like apparently though it just sounds, according to one comment, I'm just reading the comment, don't at me. The 2022 sounds like something you might hear from your grandparents' bedroom.
Okay, guys.
Sorry. Move on,
yeah. I don't mean to interrupt, guys, but it looks like our special guest has joined the server, so I need to verify them first. So, okay, so guys, our special guest tonight, of course, is the one and only Bob Carter. So he's a voice actor, guys, and so welcome, Bob. Can you hear us?
I can. Good afternoon, everyone. Or good evening, or good morning.
Good afternoon, Bob. Thank you so much for taking your time to join us. It's an honor to have you here, sir.
It's a pleasure. This time, please don't kick me out of the room.
Oh, no, don't worry. That was a Discord security, I'm afraid. So, yeah, it's pretty annoying, isn't it? So, but thankfully, now you are very welcome here. So, there we go. I made sure of it. So, welcome. And
just blame the Discord logo Wumpus, and then just punch the Wumpus in the throat.
Yeah. So, if you guys aren't familiar with Bob, you guys may be aware of several things he's been in. And Bob, if you're wondering, my favorite wars you've done are for the Mortal Kombat franchise.
Hold on 1 second, guys. I'm sorry. I'm getting a little bit of feedback.
Oh,
sounded kind of bad.
Yeah, same here.
One more time for me.
I was saying that my favorite work you've done as a voice actor, Bob, is for Mortal Kombat. Which is an amazing video game franchise.
Oh,
thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yes. Wait, the voice is Shao Kahn?
Yes, Shao Kahn. Shao Kahn and Baraka.
Yeah. Here, these two guys.
Yeah, there they are. That's them. Yeah.
Balrog from Street Fighter, Black Adam from Multiverses. I've done a ton of video games and a ton of anime. Very, very blessed in my career to have had the longevity that I've had, and of course to be in some of the greatest fighting games ever made.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And, to still be in some of the best games ever made. As a matter of fact, I've got some games coming out that I can't talk about, but I'm extremely excited about what's to come later this year and early next year. So
how exciting!
Very, very excited. Yes.
Yes.
So, tell me, what are your top 3 games you guys are playing right now?
What am I playing right now? Well, currently, Bob, I'm playing Lego games, actually. So, what I'm playing right now is Lego Marvel's Avengers. Have you ever heard of that game?
I have. I absolutely have. As a matter of fact, my son loves Lego Marvel Villains. He's obsessed with Pokemon, and he enjoys Lego games. And so, of course, like Pokemon Shield and Pokemon, what else, Scarlet, and all those fun games. You know what? I'm even in Pokemon Trainers. Or can I talk about Masters right now? I think I can talk about Pokemon Masters because somebody else brought it up. So, I'm one of the trainers. I'm Chuck in Pokemon Masters, right? So I'm
very nice.
I'm very excited about this. Thank you very much. And he doesn't want to play my character, and it just frustrates me. And so every time it comes up, I'll just go ahead and take his Switch for the rest of the night.
Yeah, and if any of you guys in the comments have any questions for Bob, then please type in the comments below, and I'll read them out to Bob. Okay, so for starters, Bob, my first question I've got to ask you is, how did you first become a voice actor? Like, were you inspired by something, or did an event happen? Like, how did you become a voice actor?
Absolutely. I obviously grew up loving cartoons and video games.
Me
and
too.
So, when I was younger, I wanted to be the voice of Optimus Prime, right? I wanted to be the voice of any of those animation characters or video game characters. And I actually got my start in voiceover in radio. And I was very fortunate. Here in Atlanta, that's where Cartoon Network was headquartered.
Yeah.
And so after I graduated from college, I was very fortunate to get on with one of the top radio stations in the country. And like one of the guys at the station was like the voice of alternative music all over the world. You know, that filtered voice of 99X or 102.1 The Edge or 105.7 The Eagle. You know, all that filtered voice.
Yeah.
He did that worldwide. And so to see this guy back then making $1,000 per radio station, and then being the voice of 880 radio stations, he was getting that as a retainer every single month. That guy was making insane money. I was like, wow, there's money in voiceover. And then the other guy, who was a production director at the radio station where I worked, he was the voice of Space Ghost, Coast to Coast. And so, they were absolutely fascinating people, and they were hilarious, right? I mean, just genuinely, brilliantly funny people. And so I was just fascinated with what they did, and then I was also into improv comedy, and so they opened my eyes to this whole new world of voiceover that I didn't know anything about. Now, as far as anime went, I grew up with G-Force and Robotech, but it was when I was, again, in college, and I went to one of my first conventions ever, Dragon Con, which is like one of the biggest conventions in the entire Southeast. And I was in college, and I walked in to one of these rooms in the middle of the middle of the night where they were showing anime, like for just like the Die Hard film festival going on. And I walk in and I see there's a ninja in the trees, and then there's a bunch of other ninjas chasing him, and then there's like shuriken flying everywhere, and then it's like raining blood. I was like,
Wow.
What is this? It was Ninja Scroll. It was my first experience with anime, like as a grown-up. It was Ninja Scroll, an absolute classic anime. And so I thoroughly enjoyed that, was absolutely fascinated by that. And so I said, wow, I wonder if I could be the voice of this stuff. This would be really cool. Well,
Yeah.
The opportunity came because when I was, I was in Atlanta, and Cartoon Network was headquartered there. And it was my birthday. And I said, you know what? For my birthday, I'm going to go become a voice talent. So I went to the front door or the front office at Cartoon Network, and I said, hi, my name is Bob Carter. It's my birthday. How do I become a voice talent? And they said, you've got to be a voice actor. And I said, okay, how do I do that? And they said, you need to go get trained. And I said, oh, okay, I'll do that. And so I started getting the training for it. And obviously you can do this now worldwide, but back then you couldn't really, besides commercials and corporate narration and then some production, because it was really tight knit. But the opportunity came for me when I moved to Dallas, and I ended up meeting some guys that were in improv comedy circles. And these guys were absolutely hilarious. And of course, I love improv comedy because here in Atlanta, there's Dad's Garage, which is where I had trained. And then in Dallas, Texas, I was with a group called Ad-Libs. But these guys were with Section 8 back in the day. And Mike McFarland, who you may have heard of, Mike McFarland was part of the group, and he was absolutely a hysterical guy, just absolutely brilliant. Well, feel free.
I know him. I actually know Mike McFarland.
Yeah, you absolutely.
He plays Charlie Nash. Charlie Nash in Street Fighter.
He plays a lot more than that. Absolutely. So,
I actually live about 30 minutes from Dallas, to be honest.
Well, good for you, because you, my friend, are in the radius of Funimation and Crunchyroll, because these studios are headquartered there. So Mike one day invited me in for some Walla sessions, and Walla is when, you get like a bunch of people to come in and just like do background voices and background characters. And, again, I was, some of the people in his group were Josh Martin and Chris Rager. And so, again, these might be names that you might recognize from anime and video games. So feel free to look them up. But again, once I got into Funimation and started doing these Walla sessions and these background characters and these background voices, then I started auditioning for these other opportunities. And every time I would go in, I'd say, I want to be a hero. I want to be a hero in an anime. I want to be a hero in this series. I'm going to be a hero in this video game. And every single time they'd say, yeah, that's great, Bob, but why don't you read for this monster? Or, yeah, that's great, Bob, but why don't you read for this villain? Or, yeah, that's great, Bob, but why don't you read for this other character? And I was crushed every single time because I wanted to be the hero. But I finally was like 50 credits in when I realized villains get the best dialogue.
Well, I can definitely see why, because you played lots of great ones, Bob. So I definitely really love your performance as Shao Kahn in particular, because I think your performance made him a character that I really wanted to defeat, really, that sort of thing, and that was just brilliant.
Yes, as a matter of fact, when I recorded that particular character, I made sure that I kept his voice very close to mine, specifically because a couple of my best friends growing up, we grew up on the original Mortal Kombat, okay?
Nice.
I blew my entire first paycheck I ever received on Mortal Kombat at a bowling alley one evening. The first time I ever heard that, come here, get over here. That's something that stays with you. Yeah.
Look what I got.
There it is.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
The
Very,
game.
very nice.
And just out of curiosity, Bob, have you played the game you're actually in as Shao Kahn and Baraka? Have you played the game?
Yes, as a matter of fact, absolutely, and I loved it. My character is a total just cheat character, right? Everybody cries because he's so overpowered.
Yeah,
but
he is.
Again,
You're not wrong at all.
The greater the villain, oh yeah, the greater the villain, the greater the good must rise to overcome that villain, right? So
Yeah.
if I can be the best villain that I can be, then when those people who have beaten that game, when you finally beat my character, you remember that for the rest of your life, right?
Absolutely.
It's such an experience. It's such an achievement. Yeah, look, I'm not for everybody. Like, you know, obviously there are a lot of people who don't know my name, but for those who do know my voice, you know, you will feel my voice for the rest of your life because that character is so iconic. And then again, when you finally beat that character, it's something that's special and it's something that stays with you for the rest of the rest of your video game playing days. So I was really proud to be able to do that, you know? And then of course the same thing with Balrog and Street Fighter. So
oh yeah, Balrog.
You know, when it's such a popular it's absolutely such a popular video game for tournaments that it's just absolutely incredible that, you know, people all over the world absolutely love this video game. And so when that happens, that they hear my character, right, as Balrog saying, "Say something, chump," or "Where's my fight?" You know, that of course it resonates with them. And especially when it comes to tournament games and fighting games, it's so personal. You know, it's all personalized. And so it's a really good experience and a great opportunity to be able to do that, you know? Now, of course, of the most amazing, memorable roles that I've ever done, the first one would have to be the Tickle Monster for my kids, because they don't care about Dad being Shao Kahn. They don't care about Balrog. They don't care about Black Adam for both verses. They don't care about Sig. They don't care about Odin or Olorun or Atlas from Smite. They don't care about any of that stuff. They only care about, you know, "Dad, tickle me," or "Dad, please me, Dad, Dad." You know,
yeah, that's definitely
really
that's definitely very nice how you did it. You did it for your children, Bob. That's definitely so nice how you did that role for your children. That's amazing.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Yeah, it's a good time.
Yeah, and you mentioned Black Adam before as well, Bob. So I've got to ask,
Yes.
what was your experience like playing Black Adam in Multiverses? I mean, because that game came last year. So did you record for that in like a studio, or did you do it remotely due to, of course, the recent bad times we've had these past few years?
Absolutely. Yes, as a matter of fact, I did it for COVID. I did it remotely for COVID.
Oh wow!
And I'm so I'm so grateful for the fact that, you know, my studio has been teaching people how to become voice actors for years.
Oh wow!
And we've been teaching them that as long as you've got a good internet connection and a decent quality microphone and a quiet place to record at home, you know, I've trained them for years that they can work anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
As long as they're, you know, willing to put in the time to perfect their craft. And so as far as that goes, again, when the opportunity came to be a fantastic voice for these different games, I was able to not just go into the studio, but actually go and record it in my closet, you know? And
wow.
So again, to be able to practice what I preach and to lead by example is one of the best and most satisfying experiences, because now, in all seriousness, it's not just about me being a successful voice actor. It's about my students becoming successful voice actors, right? It's about that pride in their ability. And so now for the Neighborhood Studio, which is my teaching and production studio, where we help aspiring creatives become working creatives, I'm very proud of the fact that I was able to direct Garrett Kiesel in his leading role in Saga of Sins, which was a game that was, and again, this is a global project, right? It was produced in Europe, was recorded here in Atlanta and in Colorado. And, you know, I mean, again, voiceover is a global industry, you know, and so you can work with studios all over the world. You know, there have been times where the sound designer was in Australia, the video game company was in Japan, and I was in Atlanta. Or there have been times when, again, like with Street Fighter, I was recording in California, and Capcom is, you know, 12 hours ahead of us. behind us, ahead of us, and then other times where Spain or Amsterdam are 6 hours or 7 hours.
Wow.
Ahead. And yeah, again, voiceover is global, and so that's the amazing part. That's the amazing facet of what's happening now. Well, I mean, think about it, you guys, right?
Yeah.
Yes, please.
And here's another friend. Yeah, go ahead.
So I'm a guy who's been directing a lot of comic dubs, which is when you add voice acting to a comic and a lot of fancy editing. And believe you me, I know what it's like to try and set up recording sessions with people who live on the other side of the planet and trying to set up the right times when the clocks don't match up.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, so you've got those challenges, but as a voice actor, the responsibility is on me to make sure that everything goes smoothly. And then, of course, as the director of these sessions, you want everything to go smoothly for your client, right? For the producer, or
of course,
whoever is wanting that game made. And so now, one thing I will say, it is much easier to record video games than it is to record anime, because anime is very specific, right?
It is,
anime, it's down to the flap. And when I say it's down to the flap, think about it. You've got people who are very hardcore and very passionate about their views of sub versus dub, right? And so now you also have to realize that people who have dedicated their lives to anime, think about how hardcore we are to have dedicated our lives to anime, right? We're some of the most, we're the biggest geeks in the room because we absolutely care about getting it right. And so when you're looking at getting it right down to the 24th of a second, right? Because again, there's 24 frames per second. And then with HD anime, right? Like with Licorice Recoil, it's high definition nowadays. So it's 30 frames a second, right? So it's absolutely essential to get it right down to the flap, right? Down to the frame. So we are very passionate about making sure that we're able to do the best job that we can, and to put as much emotion as we can, and to put as much intensity as we can with that very specific, very precise timing, and then to convey the drama and the intensity of that scene or the action, and then to be able to bring that so that, again, haters might hate, but they can't criticize what we're putting out, they have to respect the show. They have to, we're constantly winning people over with our series. And so that's one of the things that I personally love, is the fact that when people discover the series that I'm in, the different series, once they grow into, more like young adulthood and 20-something, 30-something, and they start getting into the mature anime and the it's more like cinematic anime,
Yeah,
that's
of course.
That's where my hardcore following really kicks in. And I am so proud and thankful of the series that I've been in over my career, where I've been very, very fortunate. Yes, I've been Sig in Full Metal Alchemist, and yes, I've been able to, be Bojack and Sin Shinron in Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball GT, but I've also been able to be in very nuanced series like Kuroda in Odd Taxi, or Mika in Licorice Recoil, which is one of my favorite series ever, or Justice in Space Patrol. Yeah, well, of course, Sig, definitely, right? I mean, so again, you get into those series, but also things like, like more of the underground stuff, like Blast Rider or Samurai 7 or Claymore or Speed Grapher, or let's see, some of the other stuff that I've done, Tokyo 24th Ward, some of the, or Housing Complex C, like different genres like horror, or like some of the like the cyberpunk dystopian type stuff. I'm very fortunate, and like I said, I get to do original, different styles of anime and different styles of video games as well. So I always appreciate every opportunity that I get, and then I also do my best to make sure that no matter what the role is, it's as memorable and iconic as possible.
Of
course. If you're going to be a villain, play the best villain you can be. If you're going to be a space tiger or a deer god, right, like Console Eater, then be the best character that you can be. So, that's the kind of stuff that I love to do. And then, of course, I always try to motivate, educate, and empower. Right. So even when I teach others, I'm constantly trying to lead by example, practice what I preach, and then teach others how to do that as well. I'm a big believer in paying it forward. Honestly, a lot of my success happened because of the success of Chris Sabat and Chris Bevins and Mike McFarland and Taliesin Jaffe. And so, when think about it, you and your friends, you're all hanging out right now. And as you get into different series and as you direct different series, you love working with the people that you enjoy hanging out with. And so, life and success are all about the different circles that you're in. And so as you guys move into different circles, you're going to bring those people around you into those circles with you when you have those opportunities. And so I figure as long as I do that for the people around me, then, I'm definitely not a perfect person and I definitely have my faults and my flaws, but people will always remember that I try to do that and bring others in, and they end up doing that for me. And so that's where I've been very fortunate in my career that's happened. So
yeah, I mean, there's of course that saying that nobody's perfect. So yeah, of course. I mean, I'm not perfect at all, and so when it comes to Shao Kahn, Bob, have you by any chance heard the other voices of the character?
Yes, I have, and now that's also interesting, right? So anytime that characters are recast, that's always interesting because obviously, you get attached to these characters, but then there are a lot of different reasons when and why characters are recast. There's any number of different reasons.
Yeah, there's lots of them.
The industry. Yeah, the industry is remember, this is not an objective industry. It's completely subjective, right? So like when you have a Megan Fox who's suddenly brought in, and is Megan Fox really known for her voiceover? Not as much,
not really.
But, a lot of it's right, exactly. So again, a lot of it's who you know, right? So it's about networking, it's about circles, it's about production elements, it's about who's popular. There are a lot of different reasons that go into casting. And we don't always know why that happens, sometimes it's absolutely amazing, and then other times it feels and rings false. And so,
of course,
now, of course, that's the gamble that different directors and different studios take when they choose those actors, right? So, there's always that gamble, if you go with an unknown who's just hands down the best voice that they've ever heard, then that's a great opportunity. But at the same time, sometimes people just want name recognition and they want the person who's got the biggest Instagram following, and then you're going to go with Chris Pratt as Mario.
Yeah.
I mean, so
I saw Mario earlier this year, Bob, and I really love the movie. Have you seen the film, Bob? Have you seen Mario?
I did. You know what? Honestly, I loved it. My kids loved it. And
me
I loved
too.
It. It's a great movie.
Yeah,
they did a great job.
Yeah, they did absolutely.
They did a great job.
I actually got it on Blu-ray as well recently, Bob.
And also, Bob, I have lots of respect for Illumination for listening to the fans.
Yeah, they definitely did a good job for the fans, absolutely, because fans, of course, are what we'll see of the product, of course, and of course, and the fans, of course, definitely, of course, love the Shao Kahn character, thanks to you making the character the villainous character he is, Bob. So, that leads to ask, my pleasure, Bob. So, what I'd love to ask you as well, Bob, is if you were asked by NetherRealm to reprise your role as Shao Kahn, would you jump to a chance?
100% I would jump for a chance. I would absolutely jump for that chance. As a matter of fact,
I'd love to hear you come back. Absolutely, I've really missed hearing your voice. I mean, because while I do love Ike and Marty in the recent games, but I feel like the games are missing something by not having you in them.
Thank you. In all seriousness, I'm proud of the unique texture that I bring to that character.
It's definitely unlike any other.
There are always different reasons. Yes. But there are always different reasons when characters are cast, and so it is what it is. If I were asked to be a part of that franchise again, obviously I'm going to jump at the chance. I always love doing different games, and like I said, the good news is, instead of being bitter or frustrated about that sort of thing, the best thing that you can always do is look forward for the next project.
Oh, of course,
I'm excited about what's coming. I'm very, very excited about what's I can't talk about certain games, but I can say that I'm in certain games that are coming up that are going to be absolutely iconic.
Ooh,
and so I'm very proud of
exciting.
that fact.
How exciting.
Yes, yes.
Ooh, exciting.
So
Yeah.
So I'm very proud of that fact. And all I can say is, you know what? Let's revisit this conversation next year at this time. We'll do
I'd
an
love
anniversary show next year at this
to.
time.
I'd love
And then
to.
that
I'd
way I
love
can
to,
talk
Bob.
about some of the games.
You're always welcome to join us, Bob, next year. You're always welcome. And if you're wondering as well, Bob, myself and people in this chat are actually aspiring voice actors ourselves, and I definitely really love doing it. And like how you say you've got to look forward to the next thing. Well, I always say that my favorite time being an actor is always going to be the next time because I love acting.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Absolutely. So one of the things that I do, just so you guys know, I do have a fantastic masterclass about the business of the voiceover business, where it's the actual, what do you really need to become a working voice actor? And also there's a difference between being a voice actor and a voice talent, right? So
Yeah, of
voice
course.
talent is able to tap into different facets that make them who they are. Voice talents tend to be really good at commercials or corporate narration or broadcasting and podcasting, like you guys. Voice actors are very good at becoming someone else and being able to disguise their voices, being able to change their personas. And so I talk about that. I talk about the business in terms of what you need to become a working actor. You can get started with good quality setup at home that is not going to break the bank. You can do it for less than $400 as far as your hardware is concerned, as long as you've got a computer. And then I talk about software that you need. I talk about demos, what goes on a demo, what does not go on a demo. And most important, I talk about where to find work and who to talk to find work and even what to say to find work. So, those are the things that you need to know when you're wanting to become a voice actor and wanting to become a voice talent.
Yes, and
then,
yeah,
I'm awesome, and voiceover is easy, and it's not. It's not easy. It's not great. You're a business owner, so that's one big thing to realize.
By the way, I have a few questions.
Oh, by all means, go ahead, Patrick.
Yes.
So the first thing isn't really entirely a question, but it's still something I wanted to mention. So earlier you talked about how there was a character in a game that your kids played that you voiced, right?
Yes.
That reminds me that another voice actor we interviewed a little while back was named Keith.
Sharbaika, yeah, Keith Sharbaika.
Yeah, we interviewed him a while back, and he also talked about how there was this one point where his kids was playing a game where he had voiced the final boss and they knew that was him, and then just one time while they were playing, he just heard from the living room, "I just killed Dad."
I think that's the funniest moments in an interview, in a voice actors interview we've done.
Yeah, because
that's funny.
Yeah,
what else is funny?
Yeah, go on, Bob.
Well, what's ironic is, my oldest daughter and my youngest son, they're slightly and mildly amused when I do my different voices, right? Like my oldest, she thinks it's corny. My middle child, she's like, "Stop doing voices. Stop it completely. Just stop." Right? And they just they cringe when I do it. I'm like, "How could you cringe?" Right? Thanks to this, you exist. But of course, they've each got their own opinions when it comes to that sort of thing. But yes, they definitely enjoy when they're able to beat my character in video games, or when they're able to see certain anime that I'm in that their friends are now watching, because that gives them cool points at school. So, there's that irony that's there. But definitely, when somebody says, "I just killed Dad," or, "Oh, I beat Dad, yes!" I definitely have to hear that as well.
Yeah.
I absolutely have to hear that.
Yeah.
And so another question I had was, one of the first things I actually ever saw you in, ironically enough, was not an anime. It was a fan-made motion comic of a Spider-Man comic.
Yes, Death of Spider-Man.
Yeah, where you were the Green Goblin, if I remember correctly. It was one of the first
Actually,
things I ever saw you in.
thank you very much for that film. Just so you know, that video that it's on YouTube. It's free. It's The Death of Spider-Man. So yes, Andrew Bates and Drew Lawson made that, and Andrew is now in LA, engineering different shows, and he became the voice of Spider-Man for a brief period, the Zero Spider-Man, and he was an engineer, but that convinced him to become a voice talent because he was the voice of Peter Parker. He did a fantastic job, and then I was actually the voice of Green Goblin, Sandman, J. Jonah Jameson, Captain America, and one other. Yes, actually, thank you very much. Yeah, and most people don't recognize that, which again is.
It said you played Craven too, Bob. It said you played Craven as well, Craven the Hunter. That's awesome.
Yes, that's it. Yep, that's the one. I was also Craven, and so and then Drew is like the artistic designer of like Stranger Things, and he designed all the. He designed all the graphics for Starport Mall, and he's working on Marvel movies now and things like that. But that fan film led to a lot of opportunities for a lot of different people. As a matter of fact, that's how I ended up partnering up with Keith Brooks and Trevor Garner, and they are brilliant creatives themselves. And so we did an interesting audio drama called The Eye. But that video still resonates. Anybody that loves Spider-Man, I absolutely recommend that you watch that. It is phenomenal.
I'll definitely give it a watch, Bob. Absolutely, because if you're wondering, Bob, Spider-Man's my favorite superhero, so I'll definitely give it a watch.
Oh, man. It makes people cry. Like, I'm not kidding. It makes people cry because it's Ultimate Spider-Man, and I don't know if you're a huge fan. You know what? Just watch it.
I will, absolutely.
And you'll feel the emotions, and it hits you in the feels in ways that you never expect. So that's something that I'm really proud of. Thank you for seeing that.
Yeah,
thank you.
I'll definitely give it a watch. Patrick, did you say another question for Bob?
Yes.
Please.
So this next question is actually one of those times where, like, I get to actually ask a voice actor, "Hey, did you play this part that I suspect you may have played?" So essentially, when you were voice acting in the original first Fullmetal Alchemist anime, you were credited with 2 characters. You voiced Curtis, of course. But you also voiced a character named. I'm actually not entirely sure how you pronounce this. It's Clay, but with an R instead of an L.
Yes, it was Craig, but then we ended up calling him Clay. But yes, Craig.
Okay, yeah. But it's the reason why I'm bringing this up is because it's actually completely unconfirmed who it is that voices this character in the English dub of Brotherhood. So I'm curious, was that also you?
Sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. So again, that's where you get into some of those casting issues. Funimation, because they are so turnkey, and remember, they're able to simuldub, right? I mean, nobody in the entire industry can simuldub anything, right? Think about it. Going from 2 weeks after I've voiced something to where it's actually being watched, whether it's in Japan or in America, the fact that that kind of process is so turnkey is just amazing, right? And so to be able to do that in this day and age, I mean, no other studio is doing that in the entire world, right? Nobody is recording the actor, getting that edited, doing the sound design, cleaning it up, putting everything together, and then making it to where it can be distributed on any network around the world. That's just amazing, right? That's a testament to the technology of today. It's a testament to Funimation, and actually it's a testament to, again, the hardworking and incredibly brilliantly talented people who take part in every aspect of these series, right? I mean, these guys are like quiet geniuses. You know what I mean? They're like the silently unsung, underappreciated geniuses who make that sort of thing happen. But when it comes to that kind of turnkey turnaround time, sometimes, again, when you're doing simuldubs and you're doing things like that, you want to make sure that you've got access to your actors at any given point. So you never want to have to wait on them. You never want to have it take more than a day or two if they need to be in the studio. And so because I'm not in Dallas anymore, even though I fly to Dallas a lot and I fly to LA or I travel.
Oh, nice.
typically Funimation and Crunchyroll, these studios are what I call geocentric, right? They want to use their actors who are within driving distance, not just within flying distance. And then California, again, was the same way, but COVID changed a lot of things. Now, this is why I still say anime is still very, very, very closed in terms of who they bring in, right? You want to use professional actors who have years of acting experience. And again, because it's so precise and because it's so specific and because it's so nuanced, you're not going to start off with beginners. But then when it comes to video games, that's where the opportunities are for you guys, because you can record video games all over the world. And then also nowadays, because now here's the other thing. So if you guys follow Corridor Digital, right? Corridor Crew, remember when they did Rock, Paper, Scissors anime? Are you guys familiar with that?
Oh, yeah, of course. Rock, Paper, Scissors, yeah.
No. Right. So really. That was, okay, good. You've got some homework to watch. So I want you to watch Corridor Digital, Rock, Paper, Scissors anime. You're going to love it. It's absolutely amazing. It was done by 5 guys who did it for fun within 2 months. So now this is like dropping a bomb in the animation industry because, again, AI is changing the world. Midjourney is changing the world. And these things are happening every single day, right? And even right now, I'm dealing with AI issues and like with the strike going on and with joining the union. And now, again, the question is, people can use, there's so much of my voice that's out there that people can rip my voice and not pay me, right? And that's not cool.
No, it's not at all.
Right, and studios can lift my voice and use that for future characters. That's not cool. I'm not allowing that. I'm not accepting that. But that's what we're dealing with now. And so that's why you have so many people who are striking to try to secure a future for themselves, to figure out how we're going to make these things happen. Now, the other interesting thing is that you can't stop technology, right? AI is obviously transforming these things. You guys specifically are the future. You're the industry right now. So these 5 guys with their computers and then using Blender and Unreal Engine, which again, anybody can get access to, they were able to make an amazing anime series in just 2 months. 5 guys. So that right there is a template for everybody else in the world to make new animation and new anime. Now, don't rip off anybody else's style. Make your own style, but at the same time, this is inspirational in that technology is changing, the world is changing. We can create new forms of animation that is faster and more original and more stylish, and we're limited only by our own imaginations. So for the person who has not seen Rock, Paper, Scissors anime, I want you to watch that. And then I want you to watch the 20 to 30 minute conversation after that about talking about the future of AI, because it's such a dilemma and it's not an easy, one-stop answer kind of conversation. And then for those who are really passionate about editing and engineering and things like that, go ahead and sign up for Corridor Digital. And again, I get nothing from this. I believe in what they're doing, and I'm really impressed with the fact that Corridor Digital did this and then they shared it with everybody. And that is so impressive, for them to be willing to share. I'm willing to move forward and in sharing with others as well. So that's why I want you guys to check it out. Okay?
Oh, yeah, of course, Bob. Yeah, I'll definitely consider watching it if you recommend it. Yeah, and I believe one of our guests here, Blaze, has a question for you, Bob. So, Blaze, do you want to ask Bob your question?
Oh, yeah. So, in Mortal Kombat 9, Bob, have you actually managed to beat Shao Kahn? Because I had issues beating him
once. In all seriousness, I did one time.
Oh, well done, Bob. Well done.
Really good at video games. So here's the thing. Obviously, now though, I work so much, I don't ever get to do it. To be really good at video games. So the voice of Shao Kahn. Remember, I said I based it on my character. This is a funny story. So feel free to look up this guy. His name is Bill Kretz. He was one of my best friends. We were playing Soul Calibur back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
And we were totally on a Soul Calibur battle weekend. And I had gone on this crazy 12-0 run and just destroyed him. Absolutely destroyed him.
Wow.
12 games to none, right? And so that's where the you suck came from, where I made him so mad that he took my joystick or my PlayStation controller and he smashed it into my floor, shattering it. Right?
Oh no!
So oh yeah, man. I mean, dude, it was like, again, straight out of One Punch Man. Like really, I know that feeling when Saitama gets so mad that he shatters that joystick controller. Anyway, it was hilarious, and so I made sure that when I did the voice of Shao Kahn, I made sure I put that in there just for Bill.
Yeah.
Like I said, you know how you have your group of friends, your best friends, your cousins, your brothers, the people that you talk so much trash to, but you love them. Obviously, you can never say those same things to anybody else. Well, that's who I made sure that I put that voice in for. For the one that drives people crazy, so that way, because again, it drove Bill crazy, but. Like you said, you never forgot when you beat Shao Kahn.
Absolutely.
You will never forget when you have that kind of an iconic boss who is so difficult and so challenging to beat, right? And it takes so much of your ability that you had to level up as a player, right? You could not use the same old cheat moves that you did, even on an easy setting. You cannot use the same spam moves that you do all the time. You have to use every move in your repertoire to beat Shao Kahn in Mortal Kombat 9. And
absolutely.
It makes gamers better. Right? The skills that you learn from beating Shao Kahn in MK9, those still apply today in other games. So that's
absolutely.
What's really cool about that game and my character in particular. And so that's one of those things that I'm very grateful for that. And then also, like with Balrog and Street Fighter, similar situation. People that learned to master Balrog, they became world-class Street Fighters, right? In Street Fighters 4 and 5. And so we'll see what happens with 6. But either way, the fact that you can make your own character in 6, I think brilliant. I think it's awesome. And I think it's absolutely hilarious, some of the Street Fighter characters that we've seen people come up with, and even the self-titled stories that they make up.
Yeah, absolutely. So when it comes to Mortal Kombat 9,
like in Tekken, actually.
yeah.
When I was playing with my friend Odin, I pressed down circle, which is like the stomp button, and it just really makes it nice. Like they shout like, "Stop it, please!"
Yeah, it's kind of like another situation when one of my friends and I we played Street Fighter 5 and 6, and he was playing as Zenkeef, and he kept spamming a certain where you just like move the joystick and push B rapidly spamming. And my brother was like yelling at him, "Stop using that move!" And then he just gave up.
Yes. But you know what? If so, like with Street Fighter 5, if you were able to chain the 10-punch combo of Balrog, I made sure when I recorded that I could feel it. Right? I could feel like when I was throwing those combos. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Like counting through.
That's really good.
You can destroy your opponent. Thank you.
Yeah,
so
I love
destroy
that.
Your opponent.
Yeah, I definitely love that energy you put into that particular line, Bob. That's really good. It makes it more realistic, really. That's brilliant.
Oh yeah, I did use Balrog in Street Fighter 4 actually.
Oh, nice. So when it comes to Shao Kahn in particular, Bob, when you recorded for him and Baraka for Mortal Kombat 9, when you did recording for it, of course, in the studio, were you with the other cast members or did you do it separately?
Yes, as a matter of fact, some of them I met in passing and saw in passing, like Richard Epcar. I've seen him repeatedly.
Lord Raiden.
Yeah, that actually come up.
Yes, exactly.
So very excited.
Yeah, because if you're wondering, Bob, we actually interviewed Richard previously. He was our previous voice actor guest, and he was an absolute legend to talk to. Really nice man. It was an honor talking to Lord Raiden himself, and
next year I'm eating, so you can sign my copy of Mortal Kombat.
Very nice.
I also signed my copy of Tekken.
Sadly, I wasn't there when Richard came.
Yes. Oh, that's a shame. He is an amazingly nice person, and his voice, as cool as his voice is, when you meet him in person and you're hearing his voice, you're just mesmerized. Like I know, right? I found myself just watching his mouth. Just watching his mouth as he says the words, and it was just it was incredible. So I definitely, I too am a fan of Richard Epcar, and I'm a fan of a lot of the different voice actors that are in different series. You know, I mean,
Yeah,
they're so
me
talented
too.
and they're so funny. You know, these people are so amazingly brilliant and funny and creative.
Absolutely.
And then they make it look easy. And so, yeah, that's the joy of what I do. So you guys know, some of the best sessions, some of the absolute best sessions that have ever happened in anime and in video games are not when it's just one person in the booth, but it's when you're doing those little wall sessions, those little crowd sessions. That's when we have the best times, because everybody is so funny and creative. And then, you know, you put them all together in this enclosed space, and then the jokes are going to fly. Right? Like I said, you guys are already funny from doing improv comedy, from doing stand-up, from just being brilliantly creative people. But then you put us all in the same room together where we get to play. Oh my gosh. The stuff that you don't get to hear is just, it's so hilarious. It's so funny. You know, it's a joy. That is really, really fun.
Absolutely. And I can also imagine, did you by any chance meet Patrick Seitz, Bob?
As a matter of fact, yes, I love Patrick. So when I went out to record for Balrog, for Street Fighter, Patrick Seitz, Chris Bevins, and I all enjoyed the recording sessions together, and then we went to where'd we go? We went to the marina, and we went to Santa Monica Pier. We went to Santa Monica Pier, and we ended up just enjoying the day, right? So again, imagine what at the time it was like Blanca Dulcim and Balrog all go into a bar. You know, I mean, it was a total punchline for a joke. But you know, we ended up having this amazing day at Santa Monica Pier. Great food, the rides, the going and enjoying the Red Elvises that were playing in concert. So that was wild. The Red Elvises, for those who don't know, they're a surf band, but they're a group of like Russian immigrants who have done a lot of stuff. So it's it's a lot of fun. And so to have had that day, as a matter of fact, that memory was great. Patrick Seitz is incredibly talented.
Yes,
and so I'm also happy. That's another thing. I've missed out on certain roles going to Patrick. Also, you know, and again, these are wonderful people, so you can't really feel bad about it. Look at it like this. Imagine you're getting invited to a party, right? You're getting invited to the birthday party. So even if I don't get the piece of cake this time, there will be a time that I'll get a piece of the chocolate cake, you know? Or if you're at a pool party, at some point, you're going to need to go off the diving board. So as long as you can get invited to the party, then that's the key, right? And so, you know, as long as you've got the ability, which again, you guys are, for those who are aspiring to become voice actors and aspiring to get into the industry, you're working on perfecting your craft, and you're working on perfecting the things that you need to learn for the industry. But then again, success is all about those different circles. And so ultimately, even though I might lose out to Patrick Seitz or Chris Sabat, you know, as they become more successful, and again, specifically for Chris, as he became more successful, he can't do all the roles himself. And so that's where we would end up, that's where he would end up calling me, because he knew what voices I could do and bring. And so as his studio needed voice actors, I'm one of his studio voice actors, right? So again, as Patrick Seitz becomes a director, and as he becomes more successful, and as these other people, as you guys become more successful, and as you begin directing projects, you know the people in your circles that you play video games with, that you've hung out with, that you've trained with, that you've auditioned against. You know, you guys are all fun. And so instead of it feeling competitive, feel it as it's more, instead of it being competitive, it's more cooperative.
Yeah.
And it's more collaborative, right? It's, you know, it's a rising tide raises all ships. And so as those opportunities come, that's where we're creating opportunities for our circles and for those who are around us. So that's a lot of what I believe in. And that's what the neighborhood is all about. It's a neighborhood studio because I've got a neighborhood of amazingly talented creatives with a capital C who write, who act, who film, who direct, who produce. And that's what you guys are doing and you're doing this on Discord and with podcasts and with streaming.
Yes, absolutely. And when it comes to multiverses, Bob, how you've caused voice Black Adam, I've also got to ask, how did it feel to be in the same game as the legendary Kevin Conroy as Batman?
Oh my gosh. Amazing. So to be in a game with him and many legends, right? I mean,
Absolutely.
Come on, I mean, think about all the cast of that game.
Yeah, there's lots of legends in that
But
game
it's still
alongside.
such an awesome game. Yeah, there really are. So I felt honored, you know, and I felt really excited. And what's wild is I couldn't talk about it for the longest time. You know, you're under these NDAs, and you know, you're playing some of these major characters. Yeah, and I couldn't say anything. You know, can't say anything about it. Not even to my kids, because they'll, you know, can't risk them talking about it at school, and can't risk somebody overhearing it or anything like that. So, you know, it's one of those great little secrets that when it comes out, actually, the way that I found out about it was that one of the kids told my son about it, and he came home and said, "Hey, I didn't know you were this," and it was great. So, you know, that's always really cool.
Absolutely, yes.
So Bob, I got one question for you. Did you meet Kevin Conroy, and how was he like?
He is amazingly nice, and I've met him in the past. I did not meet him recording Black Adam in Multiverses, because like I said, I recorded that in my closet because of COVID. But I've met him at different conventions, and then he's just an amazingly, very, very genuinely nice person. And of course, his voice is just, I mean, it's incredible. You know, I mean, he's
absolutely iconic.
Batman.
Absolutely. I mean,
he's Batman.
Yeah, in my opinion, he is the greatest Batman ever, and we lost him way too soon.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It really is.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Which we also lost Alan Sorkin too.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, it was very sad how she passed away a few weeks ago. Yeah, really sad. When it comes to voice actors, Bob, you mentioned Optimus Prime at the start of the stream, and I've got to say as well, it's a pretty cool coincidence because he's actually my favorite character of all time, and he's actually voiced by my favorite voice actor, which is Peter Cullen. Yeah. So that means I've got to ask you, have you got a favorite voice actor, Bob? Like a favorite voice actor who inspires you?
Favorite voice actor that inspires me, you know, it's honestly, it's all of them. It's, I mean, you know, it's Peter Cullen, it's James Earl Jones, it's
James Earl Jones.
Oh man.
You know, I mean, it really, it's so many different people. You know, but not just the iconic classics anymore. It's also the younger ones, because again, you know, you've got different generations of talent. And so when you've got different generations of new up and comers, and you know, I mean, they've got that hunger, you know, that ambition, and they're doing what they can, and they're striving, and you know, it's amazing to be able to see and hear so many different people. You know, you can't just label it to just one. I mean, obviously, like I said, you know, I've been fortunate enough in the industry to where, you know, going to grab Thai food, you know, with everybody from Funimation, you know, and I mean, whether it's or just, you know, grabbing coffee with Kyle Hebert, or with Chris Sabat, or with Kyle Phillips, or Chris Bevins, or Garrett Kiesel, or Lindsay Renee, or Colleen Klinkenbeard, or Caitlin Glass, or Kara Edwards, or Katie Lee, or I mean, there are so many classics, but then there are so many young ones as well. I mean, like Damon Mills directed me yesterday. Of course, Patrick and Taliesin Jaffe.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I mean, but you know, again, we're not just looking at the older guard. It's also the new guard that are coming up. You know, whether it's meeting, you know what? Honestly, I even met Adasa which was really cool. And she was Dolores in Encanto, so that was really cool. You meet so many different types of creatives and so many people who are so good at what they do. Let me think in terms of all the people that I've ever known, that I've ever worked with. Let me think about that.
Yeah, take your time. That's probably a lot.
Okay, I will tell you this. My wife, she is the voice of the Amazon Kindle Fire, and she was a voice talent. Unfortunately, she's gotten really ill and she doesn't do voiceover anymore.
Oh.
However, she was the voice of Mary Jane in Death of Spider-Man.
Oh, wow.
So that way you guys know who she is. Today is the anniversary of her live announcing the MTV Video Music Awards, and the one with drunk Britney Spears, the one where Kid Rock and Tommy Lee got into a fight backstage, and the one in Vegas that was just like so crazy, where like Chris Brown and Rihanna got into a fight, and I mean it was just a bananas experience. But that was her VMA, so she did a lot of live announcing, and she did all kinds of everything from commercials and corporate narration to video games as well. And then she was the voice of the Amazon Kindle Fire. So like Susan Bennett was the voice of Siri and Apple, and she was the voice of Amazon. Now here's the crazy part. So the voice when she recorded that was through a company called Ivona. Ivona got bought by Amazon. Amazon then took her voice and sold it. And we don't even know all the different people who've sold it. But she is now the voice of artificial intelligence all over the world. It's actually upsetting because as people talk about AI taking over jobs and things like that, so we have a running joke of if we had a nickel for every time we heard her voice, she has been the voice of everything from when you turn on a power bar from ONN, when you call up the Small Business Administration in Washington, D.C., when you call your cable provider, she's the voice of that company. She's the voice of some of these different dolls and AI robots and programs and things like that. So it's totally creepy, weird stuff, right? So she is everywhere. She's ubiquitous. But in all seriousness, she was so progressive in her ideas about voiceover, and in the fact that anybody can do voiceover anywhere. You don't have to train for years to do voiceover. You just have to have that burning passion and go out and get it. That kind of that hustle to go get it. And so it made me admire her so much. And then when she invited me to teach with her, I was just so impressed at the fact that, it took me years and years of hard knocks and training and all these different lessons and things that I learned. And then the things that she learned, she was just giving them away. So that is actually the inspiration for the Neighborhood Studio. It's her. She was the one that inspired Neighborhood Studio. And, because she was a big believer in like Mr. Rogers' philosophy, you know what I mean? That we can all play and we can all imagine. And so we opened up the Neighborhood together. I was so impressed with her that I invited her to help me do a show called Volunteeros, where volunteers are heroes. And then ended up, one thing led to another. And then that led to us having kids, led to us having the studio that's now up and running and going. And it led to so many different people having so many opportunities in the business that otherwise would not. That's who I have to say, in all seriousness, she gets my, I'm her number one fan. I'm her biggest fan. So I'm very, very fortunate about that.
Yeah, absolutely.
In terms of, yeah. So I have to give September Day Carter credit. And say that she is the one. She's my hero. So
that's amazing, Bob.
I don't know if she'll listen to this or not. Yeah. Again, this is completely unprompted. I don't know if she'll ever listen to this or not, but that's a fact. So.
If she's listening, I'm sure she'll be very happy.
Sure. You got a few more questions? All right. Well, let's do them. Rapid fire. I'll try to get them all done in like 3 minutes. Here we go.
Go on, Patrick.
I'll see what I can do. So it's mostly just 2 questions, honestly.
Sure.
First one is, one of them technically isn't a question. It's just something I really want to mention because, you remember how you mentioned like Megan Fox earlier when it came to the casting thing?
Yes.
Oh, that's kind of ironic because I just checked a little while ago while you were talking. She's actually in the new Mortal Kombat game.
Yeah, she is, as Nitara.
That
yeah,
really
like I
caught me
said,
off guard.
right, I know it caught a lot of people off guard. Like I said, she's known mostly for on camera, and so for her to do voiceover was quite surprising. Now, I'm also a big believer. Um, that's where it's very important to have a very strong voice director, right? To make sure that you bring out the expressiveness in a character. And that's why it's extremely important when it comes to casting. So, there are different skill sets when it comes to on camera versus theater versus film versus TV versus voiceover, right? So a perfect example of this is Megamind. I love Will Ferrell as Megamind. He's brilliant. He's absolutely amazing. There's no question.
Oh yeah, he's
Brad Pitt is Metro Man. Now again, I love Brad Pitt as an actor. I absolutely love him for even different character actor roles. He was amazing when you go back and look at like California, but now that he's Brad Pitt, he's just Brad Pitt all the time. So no matter what the role is, it's just Brad Pitt being Brad Pitt. And so his Metro Man is a bit flat, right? So it really matters when you've got an actor with raw natural talent and amazing expressiveness, right? So if we're talking like Wreck-It Ralph, right, where you've got Vanellope Pitstop, or you've got Wreck-It Ralph, right, where they're comedians and they're very dynamic, they're very expressive, versus if you've got somebody who's used to doing on camera, where it's all about subtlety, right, where it's all about less is more when it comes to film, and your face, less is more. And so it's all about like those kind of subtle mannerisms and expressions. But remember, body language is 80% of communication. So if you take out body language and facial expression, then you've got to make sure that that other 20% is as dynamic and expressive as possible. So yes, that's where if that actor is not as experienced in voiceover, that's where it's the responsibility of the director to bring that out in them. You've got to make sure that you're really bringing out the energy and really bringing up the intensity of their performance. So I'm excited to see what all she does as this character in Mortal Kombat, and it'll be really interesting to see. But they've got the trailers out now, so yeah, I'm glad that you decided to look that up to fact check me.
I will admit, I actually do think she was pretty decent in like the first, like the live action Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie she was in. I'm not a big fan of a lot of her performances, I will admit, because I feel like a lot of them tend to be kind of flat. But I will admit, I do think she did a good job in at least the first one.
Absolutely. Yep. Again, that's where. Remember, that's where. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
The other thing I wanted to mention, speaking of actors who have sadly passed away, I wanted to ask if you ever got the chance to directly work with or meet one particular anime dubber, since he did appear in some of the same shows you were in. That is Edward Braylock, I think is how you say his name. Was the voice of King Bradley in Full Metal Alchemist.
Yes, and then also Greg Ayers, when he passed, that was really, really, that was painful. Anytime you lose people in your circles, it's very sad, you mourn their passing, and there's so much talent, that's there. But the good news is, and this is where it is special, at least with voiceover, they live on, thankfully their performances are always there. And so thankfully we can appreciate what they did and their performances. And so, we don't just get to live with their memory. We get to hear them. We get to see them, and we get to experience that and appreciate that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And I have one last question. This is pretty much the last one I have. Afterwards, I need to go because I'm busy with a lot of projects.
Absolutely no problem, Patrick.
Certainly.
This last one isn't technically a question. It's, again, something I wanted to mention. Because earlier you talked about how, like, when someone goes on to direct something, they bring in people they've worked with in the past. And that reminds me, because I started out on YouTube as like an amateur internet voice actor, as I like to call it.
Yes.
And I basically got started with being hired by other people when I started hiring people like other amateur voice actors to be in my comic dubs, because beforehand I had done all the voice acting myself.
Yep.
And a while back, I started working for a YouTube channel called Star Wars Audio Comics, which makes these comic dubs similar to the Spider-Man one you did, but with Star Wars instead of Spider-Man. And I got hired to be like, basically, I became a panel cropper and a video editor. But after they've gotten some big projects done, which I think are almost done in a couple of months, I will be allowed to direct 2 series on the channel. And indeed, I'm planning on bringing on board some of the same voice actors I regularly work with onto those projects, because I think there are some parts there that would really work for them. And because there are a few episodes where there's a lot of stormtroopers that are basically anonymous, I do plan on bringing in some of my buddies that hear that's been asking you questions to voice some of them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's, like I said, that's exactly what happens, right? I mean, that's where you want to be a working actor with different studios. So this is why, I tell people all the time, don't focus on those pay-to-play sites when it comes to voiceover. Focus on getting a direct access to the studios, to the directors, to the people who can hire you, or the people who have an ear of the people who can hire you directly. Because you want to be on the short list. We all have a short list of the people that we call every single week when it comes to, for instance, this show, right? You've got your short list of people that you know and talk to every week. And it's like the people that come through all the time for you. Well, actors are the same way. We are studio actors. And so when you're a studio actor who's in that short list of people who can be relied on for Crunchyroll, or people who can be relied on for Bang Zoom, or people who can be relied on for Funimation, or people who can be relied on for High Res Studios, or people who can be relied on for any and all of these different studios or different directors, right? So your different series, right? So again, it's all about becoming in those circles. So if you or I am able to get into the circles of Dave Filoni, for instance, which is what we really want, right? So we can be part of those Star Wars series. That's what we're shooting for. So it's a matter of being able to break into those circles. But this is also where it's important that when you do those YouTube shows, right, or you do the YouTube series, now some free series are good. You can't do all free series because you want to make sure that you're getting paid, because you want to be able to continue to do what you love. And so there's that balance of doing the passion projects and then doing the working projects. And so, you got to do what it takes to try to make sure that you can get paid, and get paid what you deserve, get paid get paid a fair value for the time and the energy and the effort and the training and the education that you've put forward in terms of becoming a professional actor or director. Does that make sense?
That's really good, Bob. Really great. And speaking of Star Wars, Bob, are you a Star Wars fan?
Big time.
Yeah,
now,
me too.
I am loving Ahsoka right now. I am loving Andor. I think that, man, that slow burn series is incredible. I love Dave Filoni. I absolutely love the series that they've gone in on Disney Plus. As far as the last 3 movies, I'm very disappointed in it. I think Rogue One was amazing.
I agree totally. I love Rogue One.
Oh my God.
Yes, Rogue One is easily the best of the Disney Star Wars movies.
No question. But I'm also a hardcore tabletop role player, and so I was all in on the Star Wars role playing game. So again, man, I am deep into Rogue One because of all the different classes that they had, and then they only managed to have one Force sensitive, right, which was Donnie Yen's character. But besides that, they specifically stayed away from any and all Force wielding characters. Now,
that was
I'm
good.
loving Ahsoka because I think it's amazing how they're bringing in Rebels into that, right? Like they're bringing the legacy of Rebels. I love Bad Batch. I'm all in on season 2, dude. Bad Batch is such a good series. It's so really good.
Also, I'm also glad they brought in like Ian McDermott to reprise his role as Palpatine in that.
Yeah, the greatest Palpatine ever.
Yes.
Oh yes.
And personally, I
But
think.
I still get mad about episode 9. I still get mad about episode 9.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, guys. I shouldn't say that.
Oh, it's
That's
fine.
not
Don't worry about
politically
it, Bob.
correct.
It's fine. And personally, I think Dave Filoni's best Star Wars production has got to be, in my opinion, the Clone Wars series.
Yeah, because
Of course, man. That's iconic.
And Bob, just gonna say this: the Clone Wars is my favorite show of all time.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Bob, I have a funny story to tell you.
Yeah, Bob. I'm serious. It's my favorite show of all time.
Yeah,
because
it is up there. It is up there. But for me, it's Avatar and Legend of Korra.
Oh, you like Avatar Last Airbender, do you, Bob? That's cool, because I'm actually planning to binge watch those two shows in the future.
Oh, yeah. So listen, I'm excited. Yes, go ahead.
I have a funny story to tell you it.
Please.
So I went to my game store to buy this game called Vampires, yeah?
Yeah.
I put on Twitter, I bought this game and I tagged the developers of the game. And not an hour later, I got a message from like a notification saying, "Don't Know Entertainment has liked your post."
Yeah, that's really cool how they saw that. That's really cool. I love it. I love it when people are very responsive.
That's the beauty of today. You have direct access to any game developer. You have direct access to any studio in the world making these games. You know, that's the incredible part where, you know, when I was growing up, you know, we didn't get access to where we could talk to somebody directly, you know, like when you've got something that's happening or when you've got something bad that's happening. But now, you know, the people who are making games, the people who are making creative content, they might end up watching your show. They might end up listening to your show, and they might already be fans of your show. But the thing is, when you tag them in this, they will see it. They will hear it. They will pay attention to that. And so that's the amazing thing, is that today it's very interactive. And especially with the way that technology is changing and making the world a smaller place and making us all more interconnected. I think it's very interesting, and I'm excited about it.
By the way, I have one last question that just popped up in my head. So you remember how I mentioned that I might be directing 2 series for Star Wars audio comics in the future?
Yes. Very exciting.
The thing that just made me curious. If you are up for doing like fan projects and that kind of stuff, would you be up for it if like there was a part in one of the series that I think you would potentially fit?
Absolutely. If it's going to be the one who takes over the Emperor's spot, then absolutely, yes. Yes, I will.
Well, not really, but there is this one part, like I can't really say like a ton because, to be fair, they haven't said anything about me not being able to reveal what comics it is I'm going to be dubbing, but just for safety's sake, I'm not going to say what comic it is I'll be dubbing. But in one of them, there is this one like a character that's very similar to like a werewolf. There are moments where he's sane and normal, but there's also moments where he's like ravenous and wild, like an actual like wolf that has rabies or something.
Well, if we're doing Star Wars, though, but here's a special request. If we're doing Star Wars, then obviously I have to be either a Jedi or I have to be Sith, and or maybe I could do both, be a Dark Jedi. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with the Gray Jedi. Personally, when I look at the Sith code, you know, it's not that bad. Honestly, oh, by the way, don't even get me started on my conspiracy theory. Just so you know, Anakin Skywalker was never meant to be a Jedi. He was meant to be a Sith. He was placed there by Palpatine.
Yeah,
because he was one of his clones. Remember, Palpatine cloned himself all over the world. And of course, there's no, you know, he was just born there. Yeah, come on, man. And Anakin's mom got mind wiped. And so, as far as that goes, Anakin was always supposed to be a Sith, and he was always supposed to be the apprentice. And the Jedi were the ones who were foolish for allowing this to happen in the first place. Now, again, we can get into all kinds of crazy conspiracy theories, because I'm also a big believer that if you watch, what is it? What's the Wizard of Oz that has Mila Kunis in it? And
Oz, Great and Powerful.
Thank you, Oz, the Great and Powerful. That is actually, that needs to be part of the Star Wars canon series, because what you have is actually a movie about a Sith and their young apprentice who they have quote unquote cloned, but they told their clone that she's their sister. Because remember, where does the dark side come from? Right? Fear leads to anger, anger leads to hate, hate leads to the dark side. What is that movie all about? It's all about the clone, right? Which again, every time she cries, that's where her skin gets burned, right? Because again, she's a clone. If you look at the rules of simulacrums, you know, even before we get all geeky like this, my point is, fear, hate leads, or fear leads to anger, anger leads to hate, hate leads to the dark side. What kind of power is she throwing around? Green force energy. And then in the end, when Oz shatters her kyber crystal, you know, the witch has to retreat, and then she goes and gets her sister. But all that is based on an elaborate ruse to turn the apprentice and train the apprentice into the dark side. Anyway, go back and watch the movie. You'll laugh right now as you're hearing this, but when you go back and watch the movie, thinking of it, a Sith training their young apprentice, it'll make so much more sense, and it'll be an even better movie.
That's awesome. I mean, do you have a favorite movie actually, Bob? Have you got a favorite movie of all time? One that stands out to you the most?
All time?
Yeah, your all-time favorite
yes,
movie.
I don't recommend this for. Yes, my all-time favorite movie that I do not recommend to other people, but it is my personal all-time favorite movie is Conan the Barbarian. Still holds up
wow.
too. I just watched it on
man,
Netflix
that movie is
a
awesome.
couple months ago.
Yeah, it is a very good movie. Yeah,
Conan the Barbarian.
and Arnie's an absolute
Absolutely
legend
one
as
of my
well.
all-time favorites.
And of course, you have James Earl Jones playing a
Yes.
great villain too in it, which is really incredible.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Force of Doom.
And Bob, follow-up question. What would you say is the worst movie you've ever seen?
Oh, I've watched a lot of bad movies. I love movies. I'm a cinephile. I love movies. As a matter of fact, I just had my live-action directorial debut. You guys are not the audience for it, but I partnered up with a brilliant on-camera and theatrical performer and writer and director and producer named Tammy Thomas. And so with Edawinisi Films, as in every day, every week, every month, every season, every year, you've got to bring your best. We made a period comedy. It was her idea. We actually did a sci-fi thriller the very first time. It was a short. It was a 20-minute short, and it was called Forever Gardens. And it was a really cool sci-fi thriller about aliens, kind of like Cocoon meets Invasion of the Body Snatchers. And so we did that, and it was interesting because I don't do a lot of live action stuff, but we used my studio to produce it and direct it and film it. I was like, all right, this was fun. What else do you have? And so we then produced, and she wrote, and I directed The Rings That Bind Us. And so that is kind of like Car Wash meets Grown-Ups. So that one I don't recommend for young people, but it is hilarious. It's kind of like a chick flick comedy, but it's got a guy comedy in it. And so it's a period piece, right? It's almost like your Michael Jai White kind of like blaxploitation kind of urban comedy films. And so it's a funny movie. And I'm not going to call it a bad movie. It's a great movie. Now, a bad movie that I've seen, the worst movie, let's see. When I think of bad movies, Deathstalker 2 and or let's see, just one that makes me bad.
That's Part 8.
Okay, that's a bad one.
Yes, it is.
And
I like Friday the 13th movies.
Bob,
I like all the Friday the 13th movies. Go ahead.
Bob, I'm just going to say that Jason Takes Manhattan is the worst movie I've ever seen.
Wait, Freddy versus Jason?
No,
Jason.
Yeah, Manhattan. Manhattan, yeah.
Yeah, Jason Takes Manhattan is pretty bad.
Yeah,
Jason Takes Manhattan might be one of the worst. Oh, you know what? The Man with Two Heads. No, check this out. There's a 70s movie called The Man with Two Heads. It is so corny and so hilarious at the same time. It's free. It's on YouTube. And there's also like a 70s. There were two other movies that are bad. Let's see. There's one that's called Black. Never mind. I can't even talk about that one because that was just my stepdad had the worst taste in movies ever. There's an Indian dancing movie that is hilarious and messed up, and it's almost like an Indian. It's like a Bollywood Terminator movie. So I highly recommend that one as for bad movies. Yeah. Let's see. There's for a guy too, but you know, there's lots of different types of there's lots of different types of bad, right? Like,
yeah,
I love Jackie Chan movies. I'm not going to call it bad ever.
Oh yeah, Jackie Chan's a legend as well.
Movies, guys.
Yeah, I get what you mean, Bob, because I watch lots of films too. I can definitely relate to you in that sense. I like to watch films a lot in my spare time, but I don't get a chance to much due to work and all that. But it's a lot of fun getting to watch movies in my spare time.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm a massive movie fan as well.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I got to say, I've thoroughly enjoyed this show. I hate to say it though, I got to get going.
No, it's absolutely fine, Bob. We understand that you. I mean, you're very busy, aren't you? Because you work. Because you're very busy, aren't you, Bob? Which is totally understandable, isn't it? So yeah, absolutely fine.
Yes. So feel free to. You guys are always feel free to reach out to me anytime. I can be a resource for you.
Yeah, of course.
Email carter@cartergame.com. Tweet me, Carter Game. Instagram, please like and follow me on Instagram. I'm really bad about it, but I love any and all martial arts. I follow a lot of martial arts stuff on Instagram.
Oh, I love martial arts too.
I love martial arts.
Yes.
Yeah. And also Bob, just out of curiosity as well, when it comes to like your convention appearances, are you planning to come to the UK anytime soon? Because that's where I'm from. I'm from the UK, you see.
I have not, but I'm actually getting my passport because I'm looking to go to Europe next year.
Oh, very nice.
To the Middle East for some conventions. So if you know of people who run conventions, I would love to be a guest, and I would absolutely love to come out. I love conventions. I love meeting people. I thrive on meeting people. And you know what? Tell you what, if you guys get me out there, I'll bring my Shao Kahn helmet and let you get your pictures taken with it.
Oh, that's so amazing, Bob. Thank you.
Awesome. You can also message Richard Epco on Facebook if you need help with that as well.
Yeah, imagine if you got a crossover where Raiden meets Shao Kahn in the flesh. That would be awesome.
Since Richard is going to London next year, so it makes sense.
Yeah, and also Bob, and also Bob, I do have Mortal Kombat. I do also have Mortal Kombat 9 as well, but I have Mortal Kombat 9 physically on PS Vita, so I'd love if you could sign that as well, if you'd like to.
I'll be very happy to. Absolutely. If you guys bring me out for a convention, any and all things that you guys personally bring, I'll definitely be happy to sign.
Oh, thank you so much, Bob.
If I get like a physical copy of Mortal Kombat 9 on the PS3, I could get you to sign that, or a poster of Mortal Kombat 9.
Might be awesome.
Absolutely. I'll be happy to. All right. And I definitely look forward to coming out to the UK sometime next year.
Oh, yeah, you definitely love it, Bob. It's a lovely country.
Yes. You know what? I was actually in the running for Larian Studios. I interviewed for the voice director job because I was super excited about Baldur's Gate 3. You know, I loved Divinity Original Sin. Divinity 2 is just amazing, right? So I really wanted that job with being a voice director for Larian Studios because I knew that Baldur's Gate 3 was going to be huge. And so I did everything I could. I made it like 4 interviews in, and then I didn't get it. But I absolutely would have moved to England for a voice director job for that. But I'm still open to other opportunities.
Well, you never know what can happen.
I love voiceover. Exactly. Hey, yeah. I never know. You know, there's this guy I know who's he's voice directing these really cool YouTube Star Wars shorts. So hopefully one of these days when he gets his opportunity for video games, he's producing. You guys might know him because he's on this Discord, right? See what I'm talking about? It's all about circles, right? As you guys are doing your different things, when you get those opportunities to direct, whether it's an animation project or open up your own studio, whatever comes in the future, just remember, be open to opportunities. Say
Absolutely.
yes and. Say yes and be open to opportunities. All right?
That's brilliant, Bob, yeah.
All right, guys, feel free to contact me anytime.
Yeah.
I'm happy to come on next year and have a great evening.
Yeah, you too, Bob. I hope you have an amazing day. Thank you so much for taking your time to speak to us. It's been an honor. Thank you so much.
Bye, guys. See ya.
Right, take care. Whew. Wow, that was amazing.
That was actually a really nice interview.
Yeah, it was.
That was amazing.
and thank you to Blaze for organising it as well. Thanks to Blaze for this.
Yay!
Yeah, Blaze.
Yeah, Blaze.
Yes.
By the way, Blaze, what is it I'm being tagged in here in the no mic chat?
It looks like some sort of game company or something. It's following Blaze, Patrick, and he says it's Danish. And he's probably asking you.
It's located in Denmark, which is the funny part, which is why I mentioned you that trick.
Oh yeah, there's a sound effect Discord I want to try out. It's called Golf Clap.
Oh yeah. Okay, so should we give a round of applause for Blaze then?
Yeah.
Oh, I can hear it slightly. That's cool. It's not very loud, is it?
I think I make it loud. Let me try it.
Again.
Okay, I pressed the wrong button.
Whoops.
As you can tell, I switched my computer.
Yeah, I can tell because you've got like that mic effect on, haven't you, Ozzy, on your headphones?
Yeah, pretty much. My gaming mic.
But yeah, that was an amazing interview, guys. Once again, definitely a lot of fun.
And I was actually here for the interview this time.
I can't wait.
Yes.
For next year, you meet Richard.
Yeah, that's going to be very exciting, isn't it?
And Blaze, I would love to join you, and then I can meet both you and Richard.
Yeah, that'd be amazing, wouldn't it?
Oh, hey, by the way.
Oh, that would be cool.
Yeah, Patrick.
By the way, I have a question to you, Luke, and to Shadow.
Yeah, by all means, Patrick, go ahead, ask us.
Ask us. I don't want to rush anything, and I don't mind that it's taking this long because I'm sure you're waiting for the right time. But I'm still waiting for you guys to record those little voice range tests.
Well, Patrick, I'm afraid I've not got the time because I'm really busy. I've got a job now, and I'm also moving house soon. I've not got the time to do voice acting at the moment.
And Patrick, can you just please explain what exactly I'm supposed to do?
It's simple. It's because in the future, I might want to cast you in something, but it's hard for me to know what I might want to cast you for if I don't know what your range is, like what kind of voices you can do.
Okay, then I'll see if I can do something for you.
Well,
I've already done mine already.
Well, the best thing I could suggest, Patrick, for now is just check out the times I've been a voice actor, for several things I've done, You'll get an idea of what range I have. Because right now I can't voice act because I'm really busy. I've got a job now and I'm also moving house soon as well, probably in a few weeks.
Yeah, that's okay, Luke. I actually was wondering how I was going to break the news to you, but I haven't really been planning on hiring you as any of the stormtroopers because I felt like you sounded a little too young. Now, that's subjective, of course, but like...
Well, I am 23, so I guess I am young.
I can actually sound pretty old.
Oh, good eye.
There are actually like a ton of parts that I can put you guys in, to be fair. Outside of those stormtrooper, not clover, but those stormtrooper parts, there aren't really a ton of parts in those two series that I could cast you guys in because they're already. I'm already planning on having other actors for those parts.
Well, that's fine. Cast who you want, Patrick. You're the director, not me.
Yeah, but at the very least, there was still one part I was planning on having you play, Luke. But whether or not you can depends on how busy you are at that time. Because this is still like in the future.
How big is this role you're talking, Patrick? How big is the role?
Oh, like the other parts I talked about for you guys, it's very small parts because the big parts already are taken up by other actors I have in mind. But like, it's basically a part that's like one droid.
Oh, it's fine.
Has 2 lines.
It's fine. Just send me the script, Patrick, and tell me what kind of voice you want, and I'll try and send it to you when I can.
Yeah, it won't be now, of course, because this is still a project in the future.
Well, that's fine. That's fine. Just take your time with it.
Since it's for Star Wars audio comics, all of these parts you'd be playing, you guys would of course still be paid. So you would also be getting some cash out of it.
Well, that's pretty cool, I guess. So, well, when it begins, Patrick, the production, just let me know what's going to happen, and just send me the scripts and what direction you want me for the voice, and I'll do it for you when I can.
Yeah, it'll be a while before we can get to it because do you guys remember how I'm editing for that Screaming Citadel series?
Yeah, you've told us, Patrick, haven't you?
Yeah, there are still 3 episodes left that haven't been done yet, and of course that pretty big War of the Bounty Hunters video hasn't been made yet either.
Oh,
But I get to direct those 2 series when the Screaming Citadel series is finished and the War of the Bounty Hunters video is finished. When those 2 are out of the way, that's when I get to direct those 2 series.
Well, that's cool. Well, good luck to you, Patrick. It sounds really busy.
Yeah, actually, a video just got uploaded to their channel today that I did video editing for.
Oh, that's cool.
It's also related to not Screaming Citadel, War of the Bounty Hunters.
Very
as
nice.
It's a prologue.
Very nice. So I hope it all goes well with your projects, Patrick.
Yeah, I also have yet, but to be fair, that can also, of course, change. I have like 1 or 2 parts in those 2 series that I'm going to be directing that in which I've cast myself. To be fair.
Well,
Like,
if you think your voice fits, then that's
that
cool.
I could potentially voice in the future in other videos of theirs.
Yeah. And so, and also, Patrick, when it comes to, you talked about, anime with Bob earlier. Well, I thought you might be happy to know that I managed to watch a couple of Japanese films which are animated recently. Have you ever seen a film called Spirited Away, Patrick?
Spirited. Oh, yeah, that one. No, I haven't yet because I don't watch a lot of movies, but I am aware that that's like one of the most praised anime films of all time.
Well, after seeing it, I can definitely see why, because I think it's an absolute masterpiece, one of the greatest films of all time. Not just animation, but of all time in general.
Yeah, that's my favorite anime movie of all time.
Yeah, same here.
Actually don't remember what voice actors were in the English version of that film.
Well, one of them.
Harry Strong, I think, was one of them. I think,
and then you have Suzanne Plachette. May she rest in peace.
And also the voice of Governor Radcliffe, David Ogden Stiers. He's in it as well. David Ogden Stiers.
The masked dude was voiced by Bob Bergen, the guy who did the voice of Luke in a lot of video games back in the day.
Yeah, Luke Skywalker. Yes, he did a lot of them, and for Robot Chicken too, and also the guy with song, and also Patrick, you know that spider guy with glasses? He's voiced by David Ogden Stiers, who you might know as Governor Radcliffe in Pocahontas.
I was literally just gonna mention.
Yeah, rest in peace, David.
I was about to call him the Eggman lookalike.
Maybe it's like one as a spider.
And to be fair, doesn't he kind of look like Eggman in terms of the face, at least?
Yeah, he does, and the glasses too as well. And also, Patrick, in the English dub, you know the voice of Chicho's father at the start and the end of the movie, Michael Chiklis.
Yeah, it's the guy who played the Thing in those
Michael Chiklis.
movies.
Yeah, Michael Chiklis is an absolute legend.
Yeah, and we've also got Paul Eden.
Yeah, Paul Eiding. Eiding, is it?
And John Fassenberger. I think that's how you say his name.
Ratzenberger.
Ratzenberger, yeah.
Oh yeah, Pixar's cameo guy, if you will.
Yeah, pretty much. Oh wow! And in the additional voices, we've got Squidward.
Oh, that's cool. And Patrick, I don't know if you knew this already, but Ozzy's actually met Roger Bumpass.
Yeah, I did back in 2018. He's a really awesome dude.
And
that's pretty cool.
And apparently, Patrick, they have the same favorite episode of SpongeBob. Apparently.
Yeah, Band Geeks.
Which is really cool.
Yeah,
it's really awesome. And so Patrick, when it comes to Japanese, animation, do you just tend to watch the shows, or because you don't have a chance to watch films and all that?
Yeah, I usually tend to stick to the shows. Like, there was actually this one anime that I actually just binged watched recently. Let me see. What was it called? It was called Sega of Tanya the Evil.
Okay. And Patrick, would you recommend this anime to people?
I'm not sure. It's really not one of those typical stories. It's like it has kind of like a villain protagonist, basically.
Oh, I see.
I would say it's basically a person who's been reincarnated into a alternate universe, World War One, where magic is a thing.
Okay.
With fictional countries, basically. It's basically World War One, but with fictional countries and magic.
Oh wow, that's pretty cool.
With a villain protagonist, basically.
Interesting.
Basically,
I might check that out.
Only its first season is out, like 13 episodes, if I remember correctly. And my personal rating of it is it's okay.
Okay.
It's not really anything special, but if you just want to watch something that's action heavy and you just want to be able to watch it while turning off your brain, and this is a good show to watch.
Well, I love action, so I'll definitely consider it.
And even show you guys what website I use to watch it.
Yeah, I think you told us before, Patrick, what you use.
And in the no mic chat, give me a second.
And speaking of anime shows, I would highly recommend Elfen Lied, which is just kind of it does have a villain protagonist as well.
Interesting.
As for me, probably Attack on Titan, maybe. I love that show.
Oh, yeah. I just put it in the no mic chat. This is the website that I use to watch the series.
Okay, nice one. So
okay, now I can't guarantee that it's safe for you guys because I have ad blocker. So I'm not sure if the site is safe to be on without ad blocker. So you're gonna kind of have to test the waters, basically.
I'll be careful, Patrick.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah. But I enjoyed the show. It's not really like a great show or special show or anything, but if you just want to watch something that's action heavy and kind of fun, where like you can just turn off your brain and watch it and still enjoy it, then this is a decent enough show to watch.
Yeah. And I'm very keen on checking out these Japanese animations, mainly because in the English dubs, they tend to get lots of really great character actors in them, of course. So one I definitely want to check out is one with Mark Hamill in.
Yeah, wasn't he like didn't he like in one of those Studio Ghibli movies?
He was in Castle in the Sky.
Castle in the Sky, brilliant. I'll definitely consider that.
If I remember correctly, he was in like the Disney dub of that movie because it had two different English dubs.
Interesting.
Yeah, but I prefer that
Disney was kind of involved with some of these Studio Ghibli movies, but they're not on D. If you're wondering, no, they are not on D- for me, at least.
Thank God.
It's ironic how they had an involvement, but it's not on their website. Huh.
Yeah, because like one example is this anime movie called Ponyo. I think that's how you say it.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
And I remember going to Disney World a lot, and every time I went to Hollywood Studios, they advertised the hell out of that movie. I'm just like, wow. And then ironically, it's not even on their streaming service.
How ironic.
And also speaking of Ponyo, that one also is heavy with these celebrity actors. Like you have Liam Neeson, you have and you have Betty White, may she rest in peace.
R.I.P. Barry.
And man,
I'll definitely watch this one of Liam Neeson's in it 100%. Because he has my respect.
Kate Blanchett as well. Kate Blanchett.
Very nice. And
was another like Studio Ghibli movie that I remember coming across on BehindTheVoiceLetters.com, and I was surprised as hell to see Timothy Dalton in the English cast.
Oh wow! I mean, he's a great actor, so we definitely hired a good actor for that anime, I guess.
Yeah, and the reason why it surprises me is because there are just some big name actors where like you would never think that they would be any good at like anime dubbing, but then they surprise you with this.
Yeah, exactly. It's very impressive, really, what people can do with just their voice, really. And also, guys, when it comes to Mark Hamill, he's an example of an actor who I have unconditional love for. In case you guys are wondering.
And like one of those actors where like you're willing to watch something just because he's in it.
Yeah, absolutely. Like if I see he's in like a film, Patrick, or a show, I'll definitely consider watching it to hear his voice. Absolutely, unless it's by a director I hate or it's got an actor in I absolutely despise. I'll probably just stick to watching his scenes alone if you get what I mean. Just Mark Hamill's scenes.
Yeah, I don't really see him in a lot of live action stuff these days.
Yeah, nowadays he's just a voice actor.
Yeah, I think
Yeah, I think
he's
being a voice actor nowadays.
Good at it.
yeah, he's a very talented voice actor, absolutely. There's no denying that, and of course, Patrick, I'm not sure if you're aware of this or not, or maybe, but he of course has unconditional love for me mainly because he actually commented on my birthday post for him when he turned 70.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, on TikTok, Patrick, I did a video shouting him out, and he actually commented on it, and I couldn't believe it. I was speechless.
Yeah, I still remember waking up to that.
Yeah, because if you wonder what he said, Patrick, he said, "Thanks, mate. This is easily one of the best birthday presents I've ever had."
Ooh.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. I was absolutely speechless. My mind was absolutely blown.
I will admit, one of the funniest things I've seen from him was that video he did where, like, he reacted to his original Luke Skywalker audition.
Yeah, Mark Hamill's an absolute legend.
Yeah, that one was very funny.
Yeah, Mark Hamill is brilliant, and also Patrick, he also won my respect as well earlier this year when he announced he doesn't want to play Joker anymore.
Yeah, I heard about that too.
Yeah, and I think his reasoning is perfectly legitimate because, of course, we unfortunately lost Kevin Conroy.
Yeah, it's a bit more believable than the other times he said that
Yeah,
he's
of
like
course.
done with the role.
Yeah, of course, because it would take a look at, say, when he announced he was time after playing him in Arkham City, he did have a comeback years later, of course, for a DLC in DC Universe Online where he came out as the Joker for that, and then, of course, in Arkham Knight, and then several other things after that.
Yeah.
And speaking of DC Universe Online, that was also sadly Arlene Sorkin's last time playing Harley Quinn as well, before she passed away. Rest in peace, Arlene. Oh yeah, Patrick, I've always got to ask you, have you ever told us your favourite portrayal of Harley Quinn of all time?
I'm not sure if like I even have like a specific favorite.
I mean, it's understandable if you don't, because there's many great choices.
Yeah, I will admit one thing that kind of surprises me is that like two of the actresses from the main cast of like my favorite sitcom, Big Bang Theory, has voiced her.
Yeah, you're not wrong there because because obviously, of course, you have Kaylee Cuoco playing in that song named Harley Quinn comedy animated series, and of course, Melissa something I think she's called Melissa Gort, I think she's called, who played in that Batman and Harley Quinn movie.
Yeah, it's kind of hard for me to say which one's my favorite because, like, Harley Quinn is not a character that I think about a lot or like watch a lot of stuff she's in. To be
That's
perfectly
fine.
honest,
That's fine.
it's a little hard. If I really like have to pick on like the top of my head right now,
Well, of course, if you want
I
to.
think it would have to be like a tie between three. And that's Strong, Sulkin, and I don't actually know how you say her name. It's the actress who voices Starfire in in Titans.
In Teen Titans, do you mean the old show, Patrick? I think isn't that Hinden Walsh?
Yes. Yes, Hinden Walsh. She's also great as Harley Quinn. I think it's a tie between those three.
Yeah, although Starfire's my favourite wall of Hinden, I think she's good as Harley Quinn too.
Yeah, I really liked her in Assault on Arkham.
Yeah, she was really. I heard a clip of her in that, and yeah, it makes me very excited to watch it because I got it on Blu-ray recently, and I'll be watching it.
Though to be fair, I did think it was a little odd that she got that part because like this is supposed to be taking place in the same universe as like the games, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's set in the same continuity, I believe.
I just thought it was kind of weird that they didn't cast like Tara Strong in that part then to keep continuity.
Yeah, I guess maybe it's because when Harley first appeared in the games, of course, in in Arkham Asylum, she was voiced by Arlene, and because Arlene retired, they probably had to get someone else in, but they could have got Tara Strong, but they didn't. They got her instead, didn't they?
Sure, I guess, although from what I've heard from my recent research I did after I heard that Sonkin passed away, apparently what happened was after she voiced Harley Quinn in either Asylum or, in either City or DC Universe Online.
It was DC Universe Online.
She,
that was a final time playing Harley.
after that, she retired.
She did, yes.
What happened was, around that same time, they hired Tara Strong to voice Harley Quinn in Arkham City. I don't remember why they did so. There was something about it, but I forgot about it. But then after Sorkin retired, they were like, oh, so we don't have her to voice the character anymore. But hey, we cast Tara Strong in this part, so let's just get her to come back and do it again. And I don't think they entirely decided yet if she was going to be like their main go-to one, because if you look at BehindTheVoiceActors.com and you look at a lot of the Harley Quinn performances that came out right after DC Universe Online, you're going to see a smattering of different actresses with Tara Strong popping up here and there. So I think Solkin was probably hired because they were still kind of unsure at that time who their go-to actress for the part was going to be before they eventually just decided to go with Tara Strong.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, of course, I mean, Patrick, you have also opened up about how you like how they go for different castings, haven't you?
Yeah, I will admit there are like some characters where like I prefer one specific actor in those parts. But
yeah, me too.
There are other times where I'm like, I like this actor, but I want to see a bit more variety. Like that's how I feel about Optimus Prime. I love Peter Cullen in that part, but I also love like Gary Chalk. I also
me too.
loved David Kay. I also loved Neil Captain. And I just want to see a bit more variety there. I still love Peter Cullen, but I still want to see some other guys in those parts too. Same thing with Megatron, although a little less with Megatron because he has had a lot more variety in his casting compared to Optimus.
Yeah, he has, and of course, Patrick, would you say that you really want your favorite voice actor to voice Megatron again one day, Corey Burton?
Yes, I really enjoyed him in animated, and I think it would be cool if like he got to play the part again at some point.
Absolutely. I mean, I think his take on Megatron is very underrated and deserves more love and attention.
Yeah, if I had to admit, if there's one actor that previously voiced Optimus Prime that I would actually love to see reprise again, would be Neil Captain. Because
what from Robots in Disguise?
Yeah, because after I saw Arcane, I checked out a lot of the characters from the games, like the champions. And there's this one champion in the game, which is like this cosmic space dragon, basically. And you can probably guess who voices that character.
It's Neil, isn't it?
Yes, and I was impressed as hell because when I first heard it, I legit thought, oh, this sounds like this could be like Kevin Michael Richardson. But then I was like, wait, no, that's Neil Captain? It caught me off guard because now that I listen to a lot of Neil's parts, I'm like, when Neil goes for that deeper voice, he sounds a little bit like Kevin Michael Richardson. But like when I listen to his voice as that space dragon, I'm forgetting what the character's name is because it's a while. But basically, it's a really deep, booming voice. It's the kind of voice that grabs your attention right away. I'm like, that voice could fit Optimus Prime under the right direction.
Yeah, I mean, I think Neil has potential because he has got really good range, absolutely. When it comes to Transformers themselves, Patrick, as well, is there any other characters who you think should only be voiced by one actor? Like, I mean, what would you say in terms of like for Soundwave, for example?
It's well, actually, I would say there aren't any parts in Transformers that I think they should stick to just one actor because let's be honest here. If I had to sit here and talk about every single time they have created a new AU for Transformers, a new comic universe, a new video game universe, a new TV show universe, a new movie universe, I would be here all day. I would say that similar to something like Doctor Who, Transformers survives as a franchise often by how much it changes constantly. And like, if you're gonna keep changing, you might as well change the actors too and bring in some variety into the franchise. So I would say there aren't really any parts where I'm like, we should always get this actor for this part, because if you're gonna do it like a new universe or something, you might as well bring in other actors to reimagine these parts.
I suppose it's brand new, so a fresh start, I guess, really. And when it comes to DC, Patrick, we touched upon Harley Quinn earlier. Would you say you got a favourite portrayal of Superman in voice acting?
Not really, because if I'm going to be perfectly honest, I'm not really a Superman fan.
That's,
I don't
fine.
hate Superman, but he just doesn't really interest me that much. I have gotten a mild interest in that new series because of how much people seem to actually really like it. But other than that, I'm not really super interested in Superman.
I see what you did there. I see what you did there. You just said super interested.
Oh, that was unintentional. But there are a few actors that I have listened to that have managed to impress me. Some of the ones that have caught my attention is some of the obvious ones, like Tim Daly, George Newbern.
Yeah, George is my favorite Superman in voice acting.
Honestly, can't tell the difference between those two, to be fair.
Yeah, yeah,
really
you're not wrong, Patrick.
Nolan North.
Oh, he's good too.
And Troy Baker. And who were some others that also caught my eye? David Kay, Travis Willingham.
Oh yeah, Travis, he's great with Lego games.
What else?
At least that's how I got introduced to Travis.
Yeah. Here's an odd one. Jason Isaacs as that alternate
Red Son.
Russian Superman.
Red Son, yeah.
Yeah, I actually really impressed with that one. I couldn't even tell that was Jason Isaacs when I listened to a clip from it.
I mean, he's a great actor. He's very talented at doing different voices. So
yeah. One that has kind of caught my attention is that I haven't listened to any clips yet, but I've noticed that in that Super Pets film, Superman is voiced by an actor I recognize from The Office.
Yeah, John Krasinski.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my favorite voice role, John. He did a great job voicing Superman in that.
Okay.
Yeah. When it comes to other superheroes, Patrick, would you say you're a massive fan of Spider-Man? And if so, have you got a favorite Spider-Man portrayal of all time in voice acting?
I'm just gonna be abundantly honest here. I'm not really a Spider-Man guy either.
That's fine. I mean, would you say you
like it? But
it's fine, totally fine, Patrick. I mean, in fact, Patrick, have you got a favorite superhero? Batman, awesome.
Nice.
Not one we're choosing Batman.
Yes, that's my favorite DC superhero of all time.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus freaking Christ.
Wait, what?
What's up, Patrick? What's up, Patrick?
It's because when you asked the question about Spider-Man, I decided to look up the main BehindTheVoiceActors.com page, Spider-Man, and I just saw all the actors who voiced Spider-Man in the new Spider-Verse film. That caught me off guard. Holy crap, there are a lot.
There is, yes. Lots playing either a big role or a cameo role, you name it. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah. And Christ almighty, if I had to mention every actor I thought was decent enough as Spider-Man, I would be here all day, because Christ on a stick, there are a ton of Spider-Man actors.
There is, yes. He's a very popular character voiced by a large amount of actors. And when it comes to my choice, Patrick, my favourite voice of his is Josh Keaton.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, I can definitely understand that. Yuri Lowenthal definitely impressed me.
Oh yeah, he was fabulous in the PS4 game.
Yeah. Although I will admit, I really didn't like Drake Bell, and no, that's not because of all the controversy with him. I disliked his Spider-Man even before the controversy.
Honestly, Patrick, me too. I wasn't a fan of him.
I just thought he was like mediocre, but that was also kind of also because I really wasn't a fan of like the Ultimate Spider-Man show.
In my opinion,
Like,
it's rubbish. I tried to watch this
Yeah,
episode,
I
Patrick, and I didn't like it. I didn't like it.
To me, it just felt like it was trying too hard to be like hip with the kids or that sort of thing. That's the feel I got from it.
Yeah.
I mean, Patrick, can I tell you something?
Yeah, what's that?
To be honest, when I look back at Ultimate Spider-Man nowadays with Drake Bell, I mean, let's put it like this. Even if I didn't lose respect for Drake Bell after the controversy, I kind of think he's one of the most overrated Spider-Man nowadays.
Absolutely. I
Yeah.
agree. I wasn't a fan of him. Because I've only seen the first episode, guys, and I didn't like it. I didn't watch the rest of the series.
Because I think one of the main reasons why why people still love Drake Bell's Spider-Man is because of the voice, because of how it sounds like, youth and teenagers sound like. But as for acting, not really.
Yeah.
Because he's kind of an idiot in the show.
Yeah, another one that impressed me was James Arnold Taylor.
Oh yeah, he's good in Spider-Man Friend or Foe and Lego Marvel 1 and other things too.
And Neil Patrick Harrison and Reno Romano.
Oh yeah, Reno from Spider-Man Unlimited. Yeah, I love that show when I was a kid. I
can't really say anything about Christopher Daniel Barnes as I haven't really watched like anything of the '90s show. To be honest,
I'd recommend it, Patrick. It's amazing. So when you got time, I'd recommend it. It's a great show.
Yeah, same here. I think I said this already, but I'm actually on season 2 of that show right now.
Yeah, I think you mentioned it earlier in the stream, which was pretty cool. Hey Connor, we're just wrapping up with streaming 4 minutes, so yeah, it's nice to have you here. Yeah, it was really fun talking to Bob. A lot of fun talking to Bob Carter.
I also, of course, can't really say anything about the actors from the Spider-Verse movies, as I still haven't watched those, and is avoiding anything from them, like the plague, because I don't want to get spoiled.
That's absolutely fine, Patrick. I would recommend those films when you can, because they're definitely, in my opinion, films you don't want to miss, because they're really fun.
Yeah, it's kind of the same deal with like these Puss in Boots 2 film, because I've heard such good things about that film that I'm also avoiding clips from that, like The Plague 2, because I want to experience them as blind as possible.
Well, I guess that's a good tactic, Patrick, really, when you want to watch something, no spoilers, I guess.
Yeah. I will definitely like say this. It seems very different from the first film, because I will admit this. I'm not a Shrek fan. I don't particularly like the Shrek movies. I'm not particularly a fan of the animation style, but like, I will admit, out of all of them, I really liked Puss in Boots. I really liked that film. It's the only like Shrek film I actually enjoyed. So the fact that this second film has an animation style similar to like something like Spider-Verse or Arcane, and the fact that it's getting like some of the best praise I've seen from a DreamWorks film in years, it definitely has me more than interested in checking it out at some point, as blind as I can, so I can get the most enjoyment out of it without having anything spoiled.
Well, yeah, I suppose that's a good tactic, Patrick. Yeah, nice one.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Well, actually, I just thought about this. That new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie also has jumped on the bandwagon of having that kind of animation style.
Yeah, I don't understand why films are doing that these days, because they're copying Spider-Verse, in case you're wondering, Patrick, because they're using the same animation as Spider-Verse for some reason.
I mean, I could kind of see why they did it for Mutant Mayhem, because, again, Ninja Turtles was a comic book series before it became, like, this whole big franchise. But, yeah, honestly, it should have just been its own animation, not Spider-Verse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I'm still interested in checking it out at some point, although I will definitely admit, one of the things that definitely has me a little curious to check it out is that they got like freaking Gus to be like Baxter. What was his?
Baxter Stockman.
Stockman, yeah.
Yeah, John Carter. So
that's an interesting casting choice.
I mean, he's a great actor, Patrick. So I'm sure he'll definitely, appeal to you in this movie when you ever plan to check it out.
Yeah. I still haven't like watched a ton of Breaking Bad or Better Call Saul, but I'm aware of like how good those shows is.
Oh yeah, of course.
One thing that kind of got me interested in him after I found out was that he was born in Denmark.
Yes, he was. Born in Denmark. You're right, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I found out that by accident one time when I checked out his Wikipedia page.
Yeah, that's where he's born. Yeah, and then I think he spent rest of his life in other countries. I think and yeah, he's a great actor, Patrick, and you'll definitely love Gus if you do watch Breaking Bad show universe. But and Patrick, isn't it true that you're aware that you're thanks to the memes on the internet?
Yes, like Breaking Bad has so many like memes that like
Yeah,
I think that's how a lot of young people have gotten introduced to it. It's so much to the point where some people have made like some analysis videos talking about why Breaking Bad has so many memes.
yeah,
Like,
it's
for
a popular
example,
show.
do you guys remember how I have like a third best friend who is like Spanish?
I don't even mention a Spanish best friend, Patrick.
Well, he's my third friend who works on comic dubs.
Oh, very nice.
But the thing is, one of his name, I don't remember if this is his front name or his surname, but his front name or his surname is Walter.
Oh, wow.
Because of that, sometimes I like to make the joke where like I reference the that Walter meme,
That is just brilliant, Patrick. Yeah, but anyway, that is 3 hours. So wow, this has been an absolute blast. This stream, absolutely fun.
Yeah,
Yeah. So wow. So yeah, that was definitely a really fun stream, guys. Talking to Bob Carter, the voice actor, was an absolute pleasure, and we've been talking with Patrick here as well, having lots of fun, and I'll show you guys what I got a tweet to earlier as well, which was a lot of fun to do as well. And so yeah, thank you so much, guys, for tuning in, and I'll see you guys next week. So guys, this is me doing Let's Talk Live episode 139. So you know the drill, guys. Be sure to give this video a like. Also, be sure to tell us in the comments what you guys thought of tonight's stream if you think Lone Constable, what you think. And also, please go subscribe to my special guests who've been on the stream. Go and love and support my channels. Also, be sure to join Team Power by pressing subscribe in the future. If you'd like to be a member, you can on use a Peace Lads or your subscription. And we will see you all later. Right, take care, guys. Bye-bye.
Yeah, stream.